Owen Murphy from Glenmore in goal, his 5th year on the squad, his 2nd All-Ireland final. Paul Murphy is a 3-time All-Star, Joey Holden is a first-year captain, and Shane Prendergast once again replaces Jackie Tyrrell. As in last year's final replay, Pádraig Walsh lines up alongside Kieran Joyce, man of the match on that occasion, and the equally gifted Killian Buckley at left half. Michael Fennelly has overcome his injury problems and he'll partner Conor Fogarty at centre field. Walter Welsh hit 1-3 against Galway in the 2012 replay. His partners on the half-forward line today being Richie Hogan, who got 3 points in that match, and TJ Reid, top scorer in this year's championship. Well, it's a first All-Ireland final for Ger Aylward in a line which includes Colin Fennelly and Owen Larkin facing Galway for the 12th time in the championship. Well, opponents Galway have Colm Calnan as their last line of defence. He was 3rd choice when they played here in the 2012 final. Johnny Cohen is the only full backline player with All-Ireland final experience, so a huge challenge for John Hanbury and for Pádraig Mannion. The highly adaptable Aidan Hart lines up with Iarla Tanyan, man of the match in the drawn final 3 years ago, and the tight-marking Daithí Burke. On-field captain Andy Smith will battle in the middle of the park, and he'll do so alongside David Burke from St Thomas's. The youngest player in the final today is 18-year-old Conor Whelan, joined in the Galway half-forward line by Cyril Donlan, and a goal scorer here in 2012, Jonathan Glynn. And in the inside forward line, Jason Flynn, Joe Canning and Cathal Mannion have so far scored 8 goals and 86 points in this year's championship, with Canning showing just 1 win in 8 games against the Cats so far. Galway manager Anthony Cunningham has now spent 4 years searching for the holy grail that is the Liam McCarthy Cup. Will today be his day? While what would an All-Ireland final day be without Brian Cody, Michael here in his 14th final in 17 years. Some achievement.
It is indeed some record, there's no question about that. Henry Shefflin, you want to talk a little bit about Galway for the moment, and what you would kind of describe, I suppose, is their uncertainty?
Yeah, I think they performed very well last day in the semi-final, but obviously Seamus Callan went to town on the high ball. I think this is where they are struggling, is the high ball going in top of the defence. The clips we have will show that basically a high ball in the top of the first 40 seconds into the semi-final, in the top of Seamus Callan, and basically Pádraig Mannion, who loves to hurl, but under the high ball he's struggling, and he was just slapping there for the sake of slamming. You know, I said it on the night, you don't break hurl for the sake of breaking hurl, to play the ball. He didn't play the ball, goal. And this is the Leinster final, another just a very hopeful high ball, but they just didn't deal with it. They weren't comfortable. Ball broke on, Ger Aylward went through, and Kilkenny ended up getting a goal from it. So I suppose that's where Galway will have concern. I would imagine TJ will be on top of the square, get the ball into him from a Kilkenny point of view, and let him win the ball. I suppose this as well is that their strengths and weaknesses. This is the first game of the championship, where this was probably Galway the last 2 years. They were going through the motions, pretending, a bit of tokenism as much to say, yeah, we are tackling, but there was no real intensity to it. And as I said, this was the first match of the league against Dublin. They were lucky this day David Tracy didn't put the ball over the bar. But compare this to the next day, the semi-final, where watch the body hits, the clock up on top. These are body hits, they want that ball back. Give us the ball is what they're saying. Jonathan Glynn with a block, out over the line, and from the resulting line ball, Galway got a great score. That's what they brought to the last day. I think that's Anthony's point as well. That's what Kilkenny have done with years, and we know we're going to get it from it. That's what Galway are hoping to do today. And as I said, I think whichever team does that better will probably come out on top.
All right, Cyril, what would your fears for Galway be today?
No, my fears would be that in a sense, give too much respect to Kilkenny and not play their own game. I know they'll have to have matchups and the TJs and Riches of this world, but Colin Finlay and these could pop up. I would love if Galway played their own game and with that Kilkenny from the start. I feel all year the teams playing Kilkenny, they're showing them so much respect. I know they're good, that they're not actually going out to beat them, but they're out to contain them. That won't work. I think we have to go, Galway have to go for broke and try to win this match.
Yeah, there has to be a real defiance in their play, Michael. 27 years is too long for a county like Galway. Been producing great players. Like, they just have to say, this is our day, grasp it.
By the way, Galway have won the toss. They will be playing from left to right as you're watching the match. And that is the toss just a few moments ago.
And I think for me, Michael, actually, which hasn't been spoken about, I know we're speaking about the Galway full backline there in the clip, is that the half backline, I just don't know. You think of the great team, Cyril, you had Tony Keeley, McInerney, you know,
Finnerty, yeah.
Finnerty, you think you're a great team. I'm going to put you in that line as well.
Cheers,
you know,
cheers.
Sonny McMahon, you know,
Doyle
and himself. And I think that in a hurling game is so important, that line, because they're the ones who are going to deliver the ball into the goal area. And I just think Kilkenny with Pádraig Welch, Kieran Joyce, Killian Buckley, who's playing a brilliant year, is that bit more stronger than Galway half back line. And I think that could play a big part in the day, because that's where the launch pad of the game is.
But like Johnny Glynn is after coming on a ton since the Leinster final. I mean, you thought he was brilliant the last 2 games.
Yes.
Sir Donlan, there is a bit of Cyril, like, will he hit or miss with Sir Donlan? But if he does click, like, he is a robust, you know, guy in the battle there, and he could really win ball there. And like, I don't expect Conor Whelan to be on the wing. I'd say either Flynn or Mannion will be outside, probably Flynn. So I mean, that would be a massive. If they could get ahead there on that line, that would be huge.
That was one thing that struck me from the Leinster final, that there were times in the match Galway actually played quite well, and then there were other times when they just seemed to kind of lapse out of the game, or maybe
but I think it's Michael, in that Leinster final though, like, Kilkenny always seemed to be in control. Galway's first touch was poor, and yet with about 7 minutes to go, Kilkenny were only 3 up. They're well on top out the field. If you said to me the goalies are there and you have 14 positions out the field, I would think Galway would be lucky if you said you won 3 of them, yet they were in the game. Kilkenny, but to me, like, Kilkenny always looked like, look, winning, and then they pulled away in the end. Galway have improved it once since that. Now, as Henry says, Kilkenny will have improved as well. The big thing is, if Galway are to win, they have to learn from that their first touch has to be right. They have to go at Kilkenny, and every player on the pitch and the few that comes on have to play out of their skins, because this is an unbelievable Kilkenny team again. Okay, they've rejuvenated. Like you had Eddie Kerr, then you had DJ Carey, then you had this for Henry. Now you have TJ Reid, Richie Hogan. They keep producing these brilliant players. It's up to the other counties like Galway and everyone else to get up there and put them back on their tracks.
And of course, special guest here at All-Ireland final day is Uachtaráin Michael D. Higgins. I was talking to the president actually yesterday evening after the football replay, and just about the disappointment for Mayo people, and he says, "Oh no, Amárach."
Hopefully not.
I hope he's right.
He's a Clareman, Michael.
He's really to it. You go.
And by curiosity, President Michael D. Higgins, introduced to the Galway hurlers twice, of course, in his first year as Uachtaráin, and that was in 2012. And now he is joined by Uachtaráin of Common Luke Lasquale, Egon O'Farrell, officiating at his first senior final. And first, it's Kilkenny's Joey Holden, captain this afternoon, a winner here on club final day in March. The Cats with an unblemished record in this year's championship. That's Shane Prendergast in place of Jackie Tyrrell. Pádraig Welch there, Kieran Joyce, Killian Brennan having a wonderful season, and then in the middle of the field, Michael Fennelly, Conor Fogarty, who's moved out from the corner-back position in recent years, big Walter Welch, 6'4", Richie Hogan in the centre, TJ Reid, that's Ger Aylward, first final for him, Colin Fennelly, hoping for a big one, and finally Owen Larkin there, and the management team looking on proudly. Big day for all concerned. Very special day also for 38-year-old James Owens of Askamore in Wexford. His linesman are Johnny Ryan, James McGrath, Owen Elliott, who is the sideline official. The umpires today, John Dunbar, John Clark, David Owens, who's the brother of the referee James, and finally Ian Plunkett, who's from Marshallstown in County Wexford. So a special day for all concerned there. Then Andy Smith coming across to have a word with the president. Galway's captain at the start of play, as David Collins is among the subs. It's their 7th game in the campaign. When they won at last in 1988, they played just 3 matches, and one of those was a quarter-final against London. The introductions there to Aidan Hart, and then Iarla Tanyan had a great game in the drawn 2012 final. David Burke from St Thomas's. The redhead there is Conor Whelan, youngest player in the final today, Cyril Donnellan, and the big man Jonathan Glenn. And Jason Flynn, Joe Canning, so much rests on his shoulders. President will special word for him. And Cathal Mannion finally. And that's the introductions completed there. The VIPs can now watch as the real stars of the show demonstrate their skills and their battle for supremacy in this, the 138th All-Ireland hurling final. It's now only minutes away.
It is only minutes away, and time to get maybe the final thoughts from the panel here. This is the respect handshake between the two teams taking place in the moment, by the way. Henry, the question to you is, can Kilkenny win the All-Ireland without Henry Shefflin?
Oh, they definitely can. They did it last year, but a lot of it. But you look, just first of all, say, wouldn't you just love to be in their position now? This is really where it's at. I think Kilkenny can win it. I think Kilkenny's scoring forwards, you know, we have our stars and TJ and Richie, but the so-called lesser lights, I think one of those four will step up today. I'm hoping my own colleague Colin Fennelly, I think he has a big game in him, and I just think there's a better spread of scores in that Kilkenny forwards to get them over the line. But I expect a titanic battle between ourselves and Galway, like the last couple of games.
This is always, Henry, an interesting time before the match, because around now things go very quiet in the stadium, and then they get into the parade, and then it begins to build up, and you can feel the atmosphere just suddenly surge.
Yeah, and that's basically, and that's the magical moment. You have the moment at the end, hopefully, when you win.
I love the parade. There was no one going to score 2-2 off you on the parade. I just said parading all day.
But basically, at that moment in time, it's just about your own thoughts, and just all you want is to get a first touch and someone to pass the ball easy to you.
Yeah.
Just easy. From a free taker's point of view, there's nothing worse than getting a hard free to start the game. So I think both free takers will be looking for a nice, handy one about 25 yards out.
Straight in front.
Over we go, and away we go from there.
I noticed, by the way, today that Cyril Farrell is wearing Kilkenny colours there. Is there a significance to this?
No, it just happened. I have the Galway ones for tonight, Michael. I just celebrate. No, if I had the Galway ones on, they'd be given out that you're going for Galway. But look, it's going to be a great game. I just hope that Galway kind of go into it full battle and stay hurling, not to lose focus, because it can happen, you know. You can be so built up to kind of go in physically that you can lose your focus on the ball. And I expect if Galway get their game going, that look, they are underdogs, but Kilkenny are hot favourites, right? So I expect Galway to cause a shock here today.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'd go down the Liam Sheedy route of prediction, say he wouldn't be surprised. That's a great way of doing it. I think, Michael, a couple of areas not much touched on. I think the goalkeepers, Broad having brilliant seasons.
Yes.
You know, who's going to really have the day of his life now today? They're both been brilliant. And the midfield, you know, Galway cleaned out tip in midfield, I thought, with Burke and Smith. Mick Finlay and Fogarty are another proposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, probably it's heart and head a bit, I suppose, with seeing a change. I'd love to see Galway breaking the long 27-year wait, but all things, to my mind, point to the proven Kilkenny guys turning up again and just getting over the line.
Yeah, well, they are the All-Ireland champions. OK, all set to go then for the All-Ireland hurling final of 2015, and do enjoy the match. Commentary this afternoon is by Ger Canning and Michael Duignan.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Well, no matter how often it's played out, it's still a remarkable picture postcard here, Croke Park, on All-Ireland final day, as the teams march past the camera here, past the goal up there at the right-hand side of Croke Park, the old canal end. An avalanche of noise coming down from the stands, and then the tapestry of colour, a riotous blend of maroon and white, mixed with the by now autumnal shades of black and amber, and the Artane band there year after year. Joey Holden leading Kilkenny, bidding to be the 11th captain in Brian Cody's era to take back the Liam McCarthy Cup. And there we saw, just for a moment there, Joe Connolly, the great Joe, captain here 35 years ago now, when Galway lost, well, not lost one, but won it for the first time in the more modern era, as it were. Galway there led around by Andy Smith as the Galway fans, and a few others. Is Tommy Walsh there watching? Love to be out there, I know, but his brother is, at least. Right half back, Pádraig Walsh. Andy Smith of Galway, given his championship debut by Conor Hayes 10 years ago, now bidding to emulate his former mentor by bringing back the McCarthy Cup west of the Shannon by special delivery tomorrow night. And there's Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane. Good luck to them tomorrow night against Georgia. Another match live on RTE, of course, on a big sporting weekend. But the biggest of the lot is right here, right now, and the battle for the Liam McCarthy Cup 2015. It's the 6th time in the past 18 years that provincial winners have found themselves having to contest the All-Ireland final against a team they've already beaten in the championship. In 3 of the previous 5 finals, interestingly enough, the losing team in midsummer turned the tables in September. Remember, Kilkenny did that to Galway recently, 2012, likewise Clare and Cork a year later, and one Michael Duignan will remember, of course, Michael, 1998, Offaly against Kilkenny.
Yeah, I remember it well. Great memories of that day. Kilkenny beat us in the Leinster final by 5 points, I think, and we came back and turned it around and beat them in the All-Ireland final. Look, every game takes on a life of its own. We say that every year. It's an absolutely wonderful atmosphere. Galway, people talk they have money. Look at the amount of Kilkenny players out there trying to win their, not their first one, but from 2008, the only man who started the start today is Owen Larkin. So that's an incredible turnaround in 7 years. It just shows you people think Kilkenny don't make a lot of changes, but they do, and they're just sending in a new player year in, year out. They're very settled looking, and look, Galway looking nice and relaxed. I was looking at them warming up there. They look well prepared. Anthony Cunningham looks very focused as well. So, I thought they'd be much more nervous looking in the build-up, but they're very focused. Been a huge, I was in Galway Thursday night, a massive build-up down there. And just very quickly, there's a young lady, Hazel Glynn in Mealy Airport, a great Galway and Mealy Airport supporter. She's not well. She'll be here today. She got bad news during the week, and I'd just like to wish her well. A neighbour of mine at home.
Well, it's often been said that if you're going to beat Kilkenny in hurling, or Kerry in football, Kilkenny in hurling, then you have to be at your very best, the best you can possibly be on the Sunday afternoon in September when it all matters, and that cup in particular is there for the taking. Anything less simply won't do. So many have tried and so many have failed in the past, but that's the standard that Galway must aspire to over the next 70 minutes, because unquestionably Kilkenny have been the best there is. Their record is clear, they have honours, they have the players, and they usually have the burning desire as well here to leave as winners. What a picture this is, absolutely magnificent. 82,000 people are gathered inside here, and the match has been watched everywhere and anywhere, all about the globe. I know we heard Michael mention America earlier on. It's been watched in Canada as well, I'm told, in eastern Ontario, at a place called Napanee and Tweed. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Hope it's a good one. It's already been a good one for Galway here. They have won the minor. They won that by 4-13 to 1-16, 25 points to 19. So now they're hoping to do the double. Anthony Cunningham said, "We will be back." And I'm sure some of the players probably said, that's like a hostage to fortune, saying that.
Well, he showed confidence, and that's very important. If you don't have a man on the sideline that believes you're going to win in All-Ireland, if you don't believe it yourself, it'll never happen. And he firmly believes it. I can't wait to see the matchups. What way is it going to go? Who's going to pick up who? We'll find out in the next few minutes.
And it's going to be interesting to see just how Kilkenny switch things around. But before all of that, before the speculation gets really underway, we're going to pause, face the tricolour, for the playing of our own Avian. Great explosion of noise. It's the culmination of the hurling championship, the game every player wants to play in, the match every sports fan wants to see. Kilkenny and Galway are set to do battle. In charge, James Owens, the first Wexford man to handle an hurling final since 1998, and it gets underway, and straight away it's Kilkenny who tried to make the first breakthrough here. Conor Fogarty laying it off inside here, picked up well by Colin Fennelly. And that ball has gone away to the left-hand side.
Yeah, Gerard, as expected, Dahi Burke on in centre-back to Mark Ritchie Hogan, Earl Latanian here out in the right wing on TJ Reid. And I see Jason Flynn here out at right half forward. We're expecting that. Conor Whelan inside in the corner. So Walter Walsh gone in corner forward on Johnny Cohen, and Pádraig Mannion over picking up Owen Larkin.
A lot of switches. Dahi Burke, incidentally, did mark Richie Hogan for the first half of the Leinster final, limited him to 1 point, and then Richie was moved by Kilkenny. Be interesting to see just what happens as this develops. Killian Buckley with the ball in his hands. Down went Cyril Donnellan, and the referee calling across and just having a very quiet word with Killian Buckley. Ends up being a free in anyway. The first chance of a score here for Galway, and Joe Canning is the one who's come out to take it. This is about 46 metres out on a very, very still, calm afternoon here. Perfect afternoon for hurling. And now Galway look to make the perfect start. Giving himself every opportunity, Joe Canning. And they're away to a flyer. First score of the match.
Yeah, I'd be happy with, not that hard a free to start with, and that leaves the nerves. I think if Galway were to win, that man's going to have a huge game. You see the hand bandage, 28 stitches in that earlier in the summer, and it's held him back a bit, but he's key man today for Galway.
Well, they have an option, of course, in Jason Flynn, who could possibly take frees as well, as Owen Murphy takes this puck out, aimed down towards Richie Hogan. So good in the air, his leg very heavily strapped, hasn't done any training at all with hurling, that is, over the last week or so. Getting caught there was Kieran Joyce. Ball flashes back out here as far as TJ Reid, slipping it across calmly into the middle to Michael Fennelly, having a go from there, putting it over beautifully. Teams level. First for Michael Fennelly.
Yeah, Ger, great score there. Galway did very well, some great hitting there. Kieran Joyce put back by Jonathan Glynn, but kept the composure. TJ Reid, lovely little pass out to Michael Fennelly, and he couldn't believe the time he had, straight over the bar.
Galway's puck out taken by Colin Callanan up there towards wing forward. Over there is Jonathan Glynn, the big strong man who had such a good game in the quarter-final. Picked up well, however, and taken out of danger by Pádraig Welch. Again, Ger Aylward coming forward, trying to get possession. Back as far as Welch once more. Diagonally across here to TJ Reid, who's moved inside. In goes Irlatanyan as well to pick him up. Runs on, Ger Aylward trying to get to it. Here's an opportunity. Walter Welch brilliantly defended. Superb piece of covering that time. It was Johnny Cohen. And Galway survived this particular onslaught. Back out as far as Ger Aylward it comes. Tricky angle, and he makes light of that and puts it over the bar. Great score. A point to settle Ger Aylward down in his first All-Ireland senior final.
Yeah, lovely score from a tight angle. Michael Fennelly involved again. He started very brightly for Kilkenny. Great block there, as you say. Here's Walter Walsh coming in, blocked down there by Johnny Cohen, and very, very important interception.
Cohen getting the stick to it. Timing was so perfect that time. Straight through the centre towards Cyril Donlan. Can't get to it. Instead, it's picked up by Conor Fogarty once again. Oh, hand pass intended for Richie Hogan. So many Galway bodies converging on it. So important that Galway get up to the tempo quickly and bring that same level of intensity that they had here a few weeks ago against Tipperary. Andy Smith, their on-field captain, into space here. An opportunity for Joe Canning to come across. Get the ball under control here. Take on Joey Holden. Have a go and put it over. Teams level. Joe Canning second, first to come from open play. 4 minutes are gone.
Yeah, Jared, that score made by some brilliant tackling out the field by Galway. Lovely ball by Andy Smith, and Joe showing Joey Holden a clean pair of heels there and over the bar. And Galway's tackling so far very, very good. Their intensity is right up there.
Owen Murphy just taking his time before delivering this one into the half forwards. Owen Larkin available but couldn't get to it. Instead it's Pádraig Mannion, anxious to make a really good start here. Andy Smith half blocked down. Shane Prendergast able to come across and take it. Beats off the challenge of Conor Whelan. And out over the sideline, that one's gone, so it's going to be a line ball to Galway. Richie Hogan here, I was mentioning the fact that he has been in difficulty with injury. He's got a bad back as well, and having major problems trying to prepare himself adequately for the real challenge of an All-Ireland final. Not ideal.
No, Jared, see his quad as well, heavily strapped, and I believe he hasn't trained in the last couple of weeks, so not the ideal preparation.
David Burke here. Comes back once again to Jonathan Glynn. And Johnny takes off, slips it outside to his left-hand side. Aidan Hart, seen as an attacking force, but this one has gone to the left. A really good chance, one they should have availed of.
Yeah, poor wide, but I think Aidan Hart, since he switched back from midfield to wing back, it's been huge in the development of this Galway team since the Cork game, and normally he'd tap that over.
Once again, just watching TJ Reid here at left half forward as that ball comes towards him here. His marker this afternoon is Pádraig Mannion, away out from full back the last day, even from cornerback as he was programmed. Here he is once again under pressure, this time for Ger Aylward, and the referee saw a foul committed, so it's going to be a free out for Galway. Little chop down there on the Galway defender. So we're free from about 45 metres out from the Galway goal. Well, he'll be anxious to get rid of something of a nightmare he had here a couple of weeks ago against Seamus Calden, of course, playing full back on that occasion. Conceded 3 goals to Calden, who had a height advantage, a skill, and, well, I'm not sure well, we could say a skill advantage, but certainly as terms of forwards, he was really at his very, very best that afternoon. And that one has gone out off a Kilkenny stick, and it's gone for a 65, the umpire has decided. And then he's been overruled. The referee has said ball touched one of the forwards last.
Yeah, interesting to see Jason Flynn going back there to his own 65 to take that free. It's a long, long way out, and just watching TJ Reid trying to bring Earl Italian across the field. He's after running 60-70 yards there off the ball.
This next puck out here, down into the half forwards once again, right hand taking it by TJ Reid, and TJ Reid settled himself but didn't finish as he was hoping to do so. Made that lovely run across here to get on that ball. Brian Cody, 14th All-Ireland final, 16 if you include the 2 replays in 12 and in 2014 as well. Callan again pucking it all the way in towards the inside forward line this time. Touched down by Conor Whelan, but not to a colleague. Kilkenny were anticipating. Conor Fogarty got onto it quickly here, surrounded immediately by 3-4 Galway players. They're certainly bringing their intensity levels. Conor Whelan back here, and that ball hit beautifully and hit over the bar. Lovely point once again by Joe Canning, and that's 3 so far, and he's got all of Galway's scores.
Yeah, well, Jerry, we saw this game, Conor Fogarty sweeps back there all the time, picks up that ball, but he was closed down immediately. But look, you can see it here, 3 Galway forwards around him, and Conor Whelan showed great vision here when he wins the ball. He's only a young player, picks it up and flicks it out to Joe Canning, and Joe did the rest.
What a year it's been for Conor Whelan, the number 10 of Galway, as that one is pumped out here, added to by Owen Larkin. One down there for Michael Fennelly to go and chase after. It's Jerry Aylward instead. Back in here, interesting, Larkin. Still Larkin, then chasing back was Pádraig Mannion, did really well initially, helped out by John Hanbury, and Hanbury completed the clearance. Up it goes towards Conor Whelan, breaks inside here beyond Cathal Mannion. Trying to make some inroads, but in the end stopped there, and Pádraig Walsh gets it away. Beautifully outside here, out to the man who's come out from the corner, Jerry Aylward, and that one has gone away to the left. Missed opportunity. Couple of chances going astray now for both teams. Galway edging it 3 points to 2. Early stages, only 9 minutes are gone. Quick puck out. Cyril Donyan came racing across there from the centre to the left, and then settled his feet and drove it brilliantly over. Got 3 great points in the second half of this year's Leinster final against Kilkenny, and he started here very well indeed, and Galway lead by 2.
Yeah, brilliant puck out by Colin Callan. Sir Donlan made the run and he picked them out brilliantly in a super score. Galway will be delighted, I think, with this start. They all look very comfortable, and John Hanbury there, big clearance. Kilkenny had 2 half-goal chances since the start, and they fluffed both of them.
And that puck out from Owen Murphy straight into the hands of Aidan Hart, operating at left half back. Great ball in. Joe Canning let it run on. That's dangerous. And that Kilkenny defence does not look all that terribly settled so far. Ball cleared out to the wing to Pádraig Walsh. They've been under a lot of pressure, the Cats, so far. Now they can counter at the other end. Hanbury coming across, still in his first championship season. Little block down on that by Walter Welsh. They've moved him in there to full forward. It's like a replica of what Tipperary did when they moved in big Seamus Callanan here a couple of weeks ago in the semi-final. Back out as far as Larkin once again. 45 metres out. Beautiful shot, nice point. First for Owen Larkin in this match, a real high achiever and a commanding figure. Always and ever for Kilkenny, 1 between them.
Yeah, an important score because Galway had a good spell. There was Owen Murphy running out over the ball, and Joey Holden looked, he was very cool there on his own end line, but it could have been a goal there, but for Galway.
Potentially very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Yeah. Back once again in their half-back line, Kieran Joyce covering and clearing for Kilkenny, but out over the far sideline. And the linesman over there, Johnny Ryan from Tipperary, has his flag raised. Kieran Joyce, a major match to play now, part to play in this match at centre half back, anchoring things together there. Killian Buckley one side, Pádraig Walsh on the other.
Yeah, so far, George, we're getting it very hard to get on the ball. When they do, they've been closed down so quickly. They've had very little influence. We haven't seen Killian Buckley at all, and just Pádraig Walsh with a couple of clearances.
It's going to be David Burke who will hit this. Goes a little short this time. And Cyril Donlan goes up over the outstretched legs of one of the Kilkenny defenders. It's Kieran Joyce who's marking him.
Yeah, he's drawn him out of the centre, Jar. That's the problem. Kieran Joyce very strong, very comfortable down the middle, but Cyril Donnellan is moving him left and right, and he wins the free there. He scored a point just before that as well.
So far, tactically, Galway look very smart today. Another chance for Joe Canning then. 3 today so far. That means he scored 7 goals and 54 points against Kilkenny in 8 and a bit championship matches, but only 1 win, the Leinster final here in 2012 against the Cats. Not an easy free, but Joe then is a real master, and he's got his 4th. Yeah, and Galway are going nicely.
Yeah, his eye is certainly in. That's 2 frees, 2 from play already from Joe in the first 11 minutes. A dream start. You see TJ Reid in corner forward now as well on Johnny Conders. Again, you talked about the height advantage. There's a huge height advantage there with TJ Reid.
I just find it interesting that Walter Welch has been moved into full forward. It's like they are replicating what Tip were able to do with a big man, an able and skillful man in there at full forward. Out comes Richie Hogan with this, back in towards the aforementioned Walter Welch, and Walter Welch has a chance here, lays it off to TJ Reid, who scores. Typical Kilkenny, typical TJ Reid. He did it in the semi-final against Waterford. He's done it here in the 13th minute, and all of a sudden Kilkenny go into the lead by 1-3 to 5 points.
Yeah, very unselfish play by Walter Welch. He just threw the pass a yard there. I just had mentioned TJ Reid going in there, you know, on the mismatch, but Walter Welch used his strength there. A little flick to TJ Reid, but he doesn't miss him there.
So a timely reminder to Galway not to take Kilkenny for granted at any stage in this match. Cyril Donnellan back here, whipped away by David Burke into the inside forwards towards Cathal Mannion. Hasn't gotten on the ball so far in this game, being marked by Paul Murphy. Johnny Glynn was trying to link up with Mannion, but it went astray. Murphy has it, drives it back down towards TJ Reid. He's got one, he'd love another one. Goalkeeper comes out and spoons it away, but not terribly far. Richie Hogan's able to get onto it, looks around to see what's on here. Ian Italian goes chasing after him. Back over it comes to Colin Fennelly, trying to step inside. A couple of players there. He was being fouled. Helmet pulled off him as well, which is a red card offence. But the referee has indicated it's going to be a free anyway. Chance for Kilkenny to extend their lead. Well, in the little tussle there, the helmet went flying. Didn't see anybody try to deliberately take it off him. The referee just reminding him he can't play on the park without the helmet attached.
Yeah, I didn't see it. It was hard to see there. It looked like David Burke, maybe the hand was in there. Dangerous thing to go near the helmet now with the rule the way it is. It didn't come off itself, so somebody must have given it a bit of a yank in there.
As TJ Reid takes the free and as usual puts it over the bar, so now he's got a goal to go with a point to go with the goal he got after 13 minutes, and there it is, slotted home calmly after Walter Welch was involved in the build-up with him. 1-4 to 5 points. Had looked good for Galway. There's lots of time. David Burke comes back and knocks it over brilliantly. It's a good game. Started well.
Yeah, that's a super score. That's straight off the training pitch. Beautiful ball down to Glynn, and David Burke off his shoulder and over the bar. Again, I mentioned Aidan Hart moving to wing back. David Burke moving to midfield has been hugely crucial for Galway as well this summer.
Full forward line for Galway at the moment reads Conor Whelan, the number 10 in the corner, Joe Canning and Cathal Mannion. Ball poked out by Kilkenny. Again, they were targeting TJ Reid, but this time back to help out Aidan Hart. Blocked down well by Colin Fennelly. We'll have to go again. Hart kicks it out this time, out as far as Johnny Cohen. Slips away from a couple of challenges. 3 men after him. Off his left-hand side. Not the greatest of clearances. Taken down well by Paul Murphy. Hand pass back outside as far as Kieran Joyce. Kilkenny lifted by that goal a few moments ago here. Suddenly more assertive. John Hanbury back out for Galway. Good ball, really good ball. Out into the centre as far as Cathal Mannion, who slipped away from corner forward. Back in towards Jason Flynn. His first touch, his first opportunity. Seemed like it was on his way initially, but then maybe there's a light breeze out there. It drifted away to the right eventually. Disappointment for Galway and for Anthony Cunningham.
Yeah, good hurling though. John Hanbury played a lovely ball out there to Cathal Mannion, and he picked out Jason Flynn up the wing, and Michael Fennelly notably struggled to get back onto him there. You know, he looked to be 10-15 yards off and he couldn't close the gap.
Murphy's puck out once again. Once more it is Owen Larkin they are looking for. Closed down this time once more. Porrick Mannion trying to get away from the shackles that time from the attentions of Richie Hogan. Cleared out eventually up to a 2-man inside forward line. Conor Whelan trying to break it down. rolls it up onto a stick, under pressure, has a man in support, it's Joe Canning. Eventually it's Shane Prendergast who seemed to commit a foul there, and the referee did blow his whistle, noticed that foul by Prendergast, and it's going to be a free in. Shane Prendergast, the 29-year-old from Clara, the guilty party this time. His dad, Paddy Prendergast, played in the 1987 final. He was the captain of Kilkenny that year when they lost to Galway. But Paddy has 3 All-Ireland medals in his collection. Shane hoping to win his first here this afternoon. Likewise, Conor Whelan there, the 18-year-old who was fouled.
Yeah, Jared, definitely the Galway full forward line at the moment have the beating of the full Kilkenny full back line. Maybe the same down the other end, even though Galway look more comfortable than they did the last day. But inside, Conor Whelan, you know, he's very fast, and for a young player, he's shown great leadership so far.
Well, 4 so far, now 5 points for Joe Canning. And the teams are level for the 3rd time in this game. 17 minutes are gone. Good contest.
Yeah, Jaron, a good response by Galway. We saw it against Tipperary. Every time a goal went in, they came back into the game, and you see it again today. Sign of a team that's growing in confidence.
It's a very positive thing to see. Owen Murphy switching it this time to right half forward. Colin Fennelly goes out, breaks it down to himself. Very gifted, very determined player. An unpredictable talent. Gets it in here. Michael Fennelly, his brother, went down. Then Ger Aylward. And then there was a foul committed just around the 20-metre line, and it hots up a little bit here. It's going to be a free in at the end of it all once James Owens, the referee from Wexford, has restored order. Thankfully, it doesn't really get out of hand. Colin Fennelly was causing the problems, laying it inside here to his older brother, who's Michael, the midfielder. And then tempers flare just a little bit. Finally, common sense restored. Referee had a quiet word with a player or two. No names taken, nothing like that. It's going to be a free in. TJ Reid will take it.
Yeah, James Owens' first final, you know, so far firmly in control, very cool as well, and handled that well there. There was not much in that. He's moved it in now. Obviously, the talking continued.
Well, it's a very central position, as you can see.
He can go for this.
Do you think he will?
He could.
Early in the game, isn't it? Well, Galway can ill afford to do this, to give opportunities to players like TJ Reid to crack a goal from this position here. With the team's level, will we just content in the first quarter of this match just to tap it over? Yes, he is. Goal and 2 rather for TJ Reid so far, and it's Kilkenny edging it by 1 again. Brian Cody with it's been reckoned an 82% championship record of success. That is some record for a man who's been at the helm since 1999. This today his 79th championship match in charge. Down on his hands and knees there is Cyril Donnellan, surrounded by Kilkenny players. They've lifted the tempo after an uncertain start. Joey Holden going down into the opposing half, inside the opposing 65. In the end, the ball handle on the ground. It's going to be a free for Galway, and once again it hots up a little bit. Nobody wants to yield an inch here. Yeah, he picked it up off the ground. That's what the referee had spotted.
Yeah, great tackling again by Galway. The Kilkenny players aren't getting a second on the ball, and Joey Holden, he just lost control, and that was it.
Here's interesting, Michael. They've brought Jason Flynn back out to take this. Obviously, we're talking about Joe Canning's hand injury as well. And Flynn is such an assured free taker normally. But this is inside his own 65-metre line. So we're talking about a distance of 85 metres. Can he make it? Yes, he can. It also gets him into the game in a scoring sense, and he's got his first point on the board, and the teams are level, and they're level for the 4th time.
Yeah, he's the option for the long range ones. He scored a great one here against Tipperary as well, a very important one, and great to have that option. It leaves Joe in around the goals then if it drops short as well.
Andy Smith has had to go off the field for a moment just to change his shorts. In the interest of decency, we're not going to show you that. Back out once again towards Killian Buckley. Stray ball going astray. David Burke able to pick it up, putting the pressure there on Shane Prendergast as Conor Whelan was looking at the ball, following the flight path, tumbled over. Prendergast able to get it away. Out here as far as Owen Larkin. Larkin going around 1, going around 2, and in the end the referee decides he takes too many steps, and Galway are in quickly anyway. And once once again, calm has had to be restored. There's a real tension about, isn't there? All of a certain needle there. Perhaps it comes from all those recent matches they've had, including the Leinster final, including Galway's great desire to win in All-Ireland.
Absolutely, Jerry. Yeah, it's an All-Ireland final. You know, he broke the tackle there, and see Joe Canning out there. The tackling of the Galway forwards, I've talked about it a lot since the start of the game, and it's been a huge feature of their game since that Leinster final, the Cork game, the Tip game. The forwards is the first line of defence, and they're setting the example up there.
5 points so far for Joe, the 26-year-old from Portumna, who wasn't even born when Galway last won the All-Ireland. Long time ago, 27 years, 1988. That's what they're hoping to bridge this afternoon here at Croke Park. And they made a good start, and he's now got a 6th. 1-5 to 9 points. Galway by 1. Owen Murphy's puck out towards Richie Hogan. Hasn't really managed to greatly influence the match so far, and this time the referee's had too many steps taken. Player is indicting his Owen Larkin. Brian Cody not one bit happy about that. Owen Elliott, who's the sideline official at the receiving end. This was the run-through here a moment ago by Owen Larkin. The referee, you can see, rotating his hands there, clearly indicating that more than 4 steps were taken.
I think he was fouled, though. He was caught by the shoulder before he maybe took the 5th or 6th step, and I think that's why Brian Cody was demonstrating.
But once again, Jason Flynn has gone back inside his own 45-metre line this time to hit it. It would be an outrageous score if he can make it. It is an absolutely stunning, audacious shot that time by Flynn.
Sure, that's an absolutely huge strike from Jason Flynn. He's having a brilliant year for Galway. He missed the Leinster final, he was injured, he came on, scored a great goal, and that's Galway are fired up for this, and they're really settling into the game and putting it up to Kilkenny now.
Coming across here is David Burke, doing a lot of covering on the half-back line, even though he's wearing one of the midfield numbers, number 9. They get that ball up as far as Cathal Mannion. What a great year he's had so far. Remember the 3 goals he got against Dublin in the replayed Leinster Championship match. Back into Cyril Donlan, back out once more to Cathal Mannion. Dodges around a number of defenders, finally gets it back as far as Jason Flynn, hits it under pressure, and it's going to drop away to the left-hand side, and that becomes a 4th wide for Galway. Kilkenny with 3 so far. Aidan Hart has had to be replaced by David Collins, who is, of course, the team captain. That perhaps is an injury.
He doesn't look injured. It's a big call early in the game. There hadn't been anything scored off by Colin Fennelly, I think. Whether it's tactically or not, he doesn't know. He's asking the question going off the field there, and I wouldn't blame him.
It's early, and it wasn't obvious that there was an awful lot happening down his wing. He caught a couple of balls. Porrick Mannion getting this one away towards Cyril Donlan, taking on Paul Murphy. Donlan firing it from near the sideline, but away to the right, and a missed opportunity. Wasn't an easy shot. 1 so far for Cyril Donlan.
Well, Galway having a period of dominance here. That's a couple of wides now. They're really, you know, when they're on top, they need to be taking those chances.
So the first change has been made by one of the management teams, as that is Iarla Tanyan taking it down from the clouds and blocked well by Owen Larkin. It's going to be a line ball for Galway. Great blocking by Owen Larkin today, playing in his 53rd championship match. Winner of 7 All-Ireland medals so far.
Yeah, great catch there by Iarla Tanyan. Normally, TJ Reid not beaten in the air. And the matchups, you'd have to say, working very well for Galway. You know, they're staying man-to-man as much as they can. They didn't bring Tanyan back when TJ Reid went inside, but outside of that, John Hanbury's on Walter Welch, Porrick Mannion is on Jerry Aylward, Dahi Burke is on Richie Hogan, and most of them haven't been in the game so far.
Tanyan to hit this. Made a decent enough connection there, inside towards Jason Flynn. And it breaks kindly for him, tries to get away from Kieran Joyce. Has to go a second time to pick it up in along the end line. Inside to Whelan, and Whelan under pressure knocks it over the bar. Point for the young man, 18-year-old from Kinvara, a cousin of the late Niall Donoghue, who played here in 2012, and Shane O'Donnell, who got 3 goals in the Cork Clare match in 2013. He's got 1 here, and it's now 11 points to 1-5.
Yeah, that's a great team score. You know, Jason Flynn, maybe a year ago, Galway forward, go for his own score there, but he played a low ball across, and a great pick-up by Whelan. And quick feet and stuck it over the bar for a lovely score. Very good.
Galway fans encouraged so far. That was taken down brilliantly by Dáithí Burke, the number 7 there. What a great catch that was. He's hoping today to win his second All-Ireland medal of the year. He was here with Corofin footballers in the club final on St Patrick's Day. Played brilliantly at midfield against Slough-Neil from Derry that afternoon. Today in the colours of Galway hurlers and playing centre-half back, really, as it were, for Anthony Cunningham's team. Doing a good man-marking job. Once again, it's Jason Flynn who's come. The last one was around his own 45-metre line. Joe Canning with a problem or two here. And the physio, Dave Hanley, in to attend to him. Once again, Jason Flynn striking it immaculately. He's got 3. His free taking has been a feature of the first half.
Yeah, and Kilkenny's lack of discipline, Gerard, that's 7 frees now that Galway have scored in the first 27 minutes. On the other hand, TJ Reid has only scored 2 frees, and that's 5 points, and there's 4 points in the game.
And without that TJ Reid goal, you'd wonder where Kilkenny would be at this stage. It's been an important score for them. It keeps them in touch, 4 behind. Once again, Galway come out with it, and a first touch for David Collins then, hoping that he would be picking up the Liam McCarthy. Got brilliantly done by Jonathan Glynn. Glynn, who scored against Cork. Well, that one was touched by the defenders, and in the end it is Joey Holden under pressure, gets it out really well as far as pouring. Well, just for a moment there I thought Jonathan Glynn was going to get another goal in the championship for Galway, just as he did in the quarter-final. Dáithí Burke back out, John Hanbury firing it across diagonally, once again over there towards Conor Whelan. Marking him is Shane Prendergast. Prendergast leaves it behind. Whelan's causing a problem. Whelan has it. Killian Buckley in there to try and win it back, and in the end Buckley does get possession and clears it away from his own end line. Andy Smith rising up for it here, but brilliantly collecting it is Owen Larkin. Back as far as Kieran Joyce, the centre-half back, all the way down towards TJ Reid. Pressure on the Galway defence this time with Colin Fennelly there lurking. TJ Reid once again coming in. Johnny Cohen trying to get possession. David Collins in the thick of it there, the number 22, who has replaced Aidan Hart. And the referee is going to go in there and probably throw that ball up. It's 10 minutes now since Kilkenny have scored in this contest, so real cause for concern for them. That flies back out there, away off the stick of Porrick Mannion, and breaks further kindly for Andy Smith. Smith, not a very good ball. There are too many Kilkenny players there waiting for it, and one of them is Paul Murphy, almost striding out, put under pressure by Joe Canning. Very good pressure. That ball should have been cleared and wasn't. Jonathan Glynn gets it back. David Burke sizing up the angle, having a go at it, and putting it unerringly. Oh, he's not. He's put it left. The Galway crowd were on their feet. From this angle here, it seemed like he might have put it over. Not so. 6 wide instead.
Jared, Galway are all over Kilkenny. I know I'm stating the obvious here, but you know there's only 4 points in it. There should be 7-8 points in it. Galway have missed a few chances. I'd say Kilkenny can't believe they're only 4 points behind, and really Galway, if they're going to win this, they need to make the most of this dominant period, because you expect Kilkenny will come back into it.
Here's Richie Hogan. They need a big performance from him. He's got 1. That's 1 back. Well, if he can get going, if Walter Welsh can get more into the match, they need Ger Aylward as well, and Colin Fennelly to be contributing a little bit more. 12 points to 1-6, 3 points the margin. As you can see, 5 minutes to go to half-time. That one straight through the centre there towards Jonathan Glynn, breaks down, but only to Killian Buckley. Towards Aylward. Galway's defenders are sharp, they're incisive, getting the stick in there, working with one another. Not the greatest of clearances. Walter Welch, man of the match against Galway in the replay when he got 1-3 here 3 years ago. Easy one for Calvin. Back out from the goalkeeper to David Burke. All the way down along the line as far as Cyril Donlan. Races across, missed the last one, scored an earlier one. And the referee again has decided he took too many steps, and the referee has been very insistent on implementing that rule to the letter of the law this afternoon. So far, James Owen's doing a good job.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't. He must have. There was a little touch there from his hand into his hurl, and he took a few steps again. Unless the ref missed the touch, there wasn't a whole lot in that.
Well, Murphy's going to take it. Kilkenny fans will feel they need the next score here. Can they get it? They certainly can. It could have gone anywhere. It was Jerry Aylward in the end who popped it over the bar for his second point, but it could just as easily have dropped into the back of the Galway net.
Yeah, nobody took control. You need to be cutting out that ball and let it slip inside, and could have been in the goals. Good response by Kilkenny, I'd have to say. The last two scores, they looked, to be under serious pressure. They're back within 2 points again.
Once again, Colin Calden pucking it out, playing in his 27th championship match today. Over towards right half forward, drops nicely for Jason Flynn, got there ahead of Killian Buckley and knocked it over the bar. What a brilliant score. It's his 4th point of the match, the first one to come from play, and he's having a very good first half.
That's an unbelievable score. It's as good as you'd ever see. A brilliant first touch. He flicked it down to himself and into one movement put it over the bar. Super score.
Some brilliant skills in evidence here in this All-Ireland hurling final. TJ Reid. Colin Fennelly now is in the clear. Out comes John. Oh, that's Johnny Cohen very deliberately taking him down.
It's a big call now for James Owen.
It's just as well he's not playing another code.
Yeah. And watch it here. It comes across higher on the neck. Very dangerous tackle, and be very lucky to escape a red card here.
Referee deciding to take a moment and have a chat with Johnny Ryan about that. So what's it to be? It's a card anyway. It's just a matter of which colour. Johnny Cohen, who was the Young Hurler of the Year in 2012, under pressure here. Moira Ishka playing advocate. Well, there's a little lecture, so it would indicate that maybe it's going to be a yellow card. And it is. He's lucky. It's the first yellow card of the match. And that was a neck-high challenge.
Well, look, Jared, he's lucky, but to me it is a red card. I have to say, very, very dangerous tackle, high into the head, neck area. Could have caused serious injury. I know it won't be popular for saying it, but I think that should have been a red.
TJ Reid's going to take the resultant free from just outside the 20-metre line. He's got 1-2. And he's now got 1-3.
Yeah, Kilkenny crowd very subdued, hardly a whimper out of them when that went over the bar, and Brian Cody trying to drive them on now from the sideline.
Should be pointed out, Michael, that around Croke Park today, just judging by the splash of colour, I would think Galway are outnumbering Kilkenny by about 3-1.
3-1.
Then bear in mind, Kilkenny has only got a population of 80,000, so they've achieved way above their numbers over the years, overachieved in many respects. The greatest hurling county. David Burke getting it back here, taking it David Collins, and there to look at this and to watch where it lands, and lands over the bar is the great man himself, Joe Canning, who's now got 7th. Further emphasising Galway's very sturdy position in this match as we approach half-time, and they lead by 14 points to 1-8, 14 points to 11. Back come Kilkenny from the puck out here. Alter Welch, who hasn't really got into the game so far, hefty shoulder there, and Andy Smith. Jerry Aylward and Smith shaping up to one another for a moment there. Pressure now is on Paul Murphy. Smith onto his midfield partner David Burke, in as far as Joe Canning, who once again comes drifting out towards the middle of the park, trying to leave a few gaps inside. Conor Whelan is playing this match as if he's an old veteran, and that's another beauty. No, it's not. The Galway crowd again behind the goal, deceiving us somewhat. They were convinced it was gone over. Joe's convinced it was gone over. He wants Hawkeye to intervene.
Well, we have Hawkeye. Why not use it? If Joe is that adamant, I think they should have a look at it. It's an All-Ireland final. That's why the technology was brought in.
Just listen to the crowd here. They certainly feel that one was a point. 1 minute of additional time is going to be played. Irlatanian went up one-handed here, didn't make it. Went off a Kilkenny man, so it's going to be a Galway sideline ball.
And Jerry, I think what we're seeing to great effect again from the Galway forwards today is the rotation. Joe is out centre forward now for the last 6 or 7 minutes. He scored a point, could have had another one there. Cathal Mannion's gone in the corner. Cyril Donlan a full forward. They're making different moves, different changes, confusing the Kilkenny backs. They don't know who they're picking up.
Well, Galway have certainly had the better of things in the opening half, no question or doubt about that. 14 scores to 9 as the referee blows for half-time. And Anthony Cunningham geeing up his team. They've done a really good job in the opening 35 minutes of this match. Joe Canning got 7 points. Terrific contribution. We've seen Jason Flynn hit long-range points, get a lovely point from play a little while ago. A goal by TJ Reid after 70 minutes, really important because it has kept Kilkenny motoring. They have work to do at half-time here in the All-Ireland Hurling Final. It's Galway who lead by 14 points to Kilkenny's 1-8. In a while we'll have the views of Anthony Daly, Cyril Farrell and Henry Shefflin with Michael Lester right after this.
We have reached half-time in the All-Ireland Hurling Final of 2015. And Galway leading Kilkenny by 14 points to 1 goal and 8 points. There is a check on that scorecard from the first half. Just the 1 goal, as I said, scored in the match. And that was picked up by, guess who? TJ Reid. Well, I'm sure our panel have been enjoying that so far. Henry, Anthony and Cyril here with us. Henry, you nervous yet?
I don't know if I'm enjoying it, to be honest, Michael. No, I think Galway have been the better team. There's no doubt about it. I think it was cagey enough the first 15 minutes. Kilkenny were probably that bit better, got the goal at that stage. And after that, Galway have been on top. Without TJ's goal, you know, they would be further ahead. But that's Kilkenny for you.
Yes.
It's the same against Waterford last day. TJ's goal in the first half kept us in it. I think in the first half, from a Kilkenny point of view, the forwards were doing a lot of movement around, but no one was kind of in their position. And I just felt they weren't getting the breaks. I think the puckouts, Kilkenny won 9 from 21 puckouts, while Galway won 6 from their 12 puckouts. So I think that's something Brian will be focused on. I think he will go out in the second half, set the forwards up. You'll be playing your 6 positions, stay there, win your own ball now, and that's what he's been in. But overall, I think Galway have been the better team. There's no doubt about it in the first half.
Yeah, I'd be very happy for Galway. They've gone at them. The big thing now, Michael, is at half-time. Like, Kilkenny are only 3 points down. There could be more. They're still in the game. Galway are looking at that 15 men on the field. Johnny Cohen's very lucky to be left on. That should be red card most days. But the big thing is they have to come out the second half and they have to drive on again. They have to drive on. Because if they fall back at all, every time the ball goes in high, I'm sitting here with Henry and Anthony here. Every time it goes in high into the Galway area, God, this pandemonium. There's always, you think there's going to be a goal coming the whole time. Yeah. Now, Jason Flynn and these guys, they struck bombardments of free smokes at the field, Joe Cannon back and so on. But all that is done even by one flick. Like, you know, that ball could have been cleared where Kilkenny got the goal. Galway have to drive on, and the high ball the whole time is still giving me heart attacks. I just hope that we're able to sustain to keep it out, because the goal looks like coming the whole time every time Kilkenny let it in high.
Well, a goal did come, Anthony. This one came to Kilkenny and TJ Reid.
Yeah, and I suppose no better man, and probably not having maybe the greatest game by TJ's standards, but of course he is absolutely lethal with a chance. But really, it should have been defended a bit better. John Hanbury, maybe, you know, when you're a young lad, you're being coached to get low for these balls. You know, it's in over the top, get low, flick it to the side. Walter does very well, to be fair to him. Gets his hurley around him, picks out TJ, and if you're trying to coach young fellas as well, to finish low to the corner, don't go for the blaster, and look, he nearly places the ball away.
Yeah, I think there was 2 things. John Hanbury should have killed the ball basically from a full back. Just kill it, just get your body over or something. But I think Walter had a chance before that where we went for a goal and it was knocked off him. I think this time Walter made a decision. I give it to the man, the better position, and no better man than TJ.
And they lost him on the run back. They lost him. You've got to track Reid all the way. Yeah. He's the real danger man.
Henry, you've been looking at the Galway puck-out strategy.
Yeah, I mentioned puck-outs earlier on, and Galway have done very well. Colm Callan has been brilliant in the goal, but his puck-outs, look at this. Sir Donald peeled off Paul Murphy, I think, and straight into his hand. And it gives the defender, Sir Donald ran 40 yards for that ball, but Colm Callan put it in the right place. And this is something that brought to the party this year. Jonathan Glynn just puck it down on top of me, give it to me here. David Burke off his shoulder over the bar. And I suppose we said the best wine to last. This was just unbelievable score from Jason Flynn, to be honest. This is what, you know, the new Galway have, is this wrist. Just unbelievable flick down. Killian Buckley, I'd say, couldn't believe that he was after getting the shot away. Jason Flynn had missed a chance earlier on. We were wondering, he's had a bad start. Next thing he goes down the field and hits a free over from 100 yards, and he's taking great confidence.
They built his confidence. Like, that's what really, you know, he had a couple of wides. The long range frees built his confidence, and like the hands to do that in a All-Ireland final, that's incredible.
Galway picked up a yellow card in that first half, Cyril. A lot of people around us here in the boxes thinking that might have been a red card.
Well, 9 times out of 10, and this is the ball again, the high ball down. Every time it comes in high, it's dangerous. This is the ball flick, look, a little flick inside. No one picks up Colin Fennelly. Now Johnny Coleman comes like a train, and if we're hurl around the neck, it's a dangerous high tackle. I think everyone thinks like Colin Fennelly is coming through like that. That is a red card, Michael.
There's no thinking about it.
Johnny Coleman is very unlucky.
No thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I call it a red card.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like the referee didn't call it. And Galway are lucky that they have 15 players on the field because Johnny Coleman will be a very big loss. He's on the yellow now, but Michael, every time it goes in high in the breaking ball, the first time TG got a run for the goal, like on the blind side, again there Colin Fennelly got inside, no one tracking him back. He had a clear path to go. Johnny had to come, but like he's very lucky to be left on the field.
Well,
Yes.
I think
Time for us to head to a break here on the programme. Can Galway do it? Who will be the hurling champions of 2015, the second half, after these? Welcome back to Croke Park. Half-time then in the 2015 All-Ireland Hurling Final. Galway leading Kilkenny by 14 points to 1 goal and 8 points. Full house here today. I actually saw a couple of the Irish soccer team enjoying this match as well. TJ Reid and Joe Canning, two important men on the field. We'll just take a look here, Henry, at how they shape up so far. But needless to say, they both had an influence on that first half.
Yeah, obviously the two marquee players leading into the game, and they're the two free takers, and TJ obviously took his goal very well. I don't think TJ's involved in the game enough. They're just not getting enough ball into him, while Joe is. Joe wasn't getting enough ball in the full forward line. They've moved him out centre forward, and he's definitely involved more. And I said before the game, his shooting this year was probably 65%. There was one there that was questionable. That was the only wide he's drove.
Could be 100% if we went to Hawkeye. That was very tight.
But no, I must say both of them are playing, and I suppose that's for them. This is the biggest occasion, as I said earlier on, and they are really performing very well.
Cyril Farrell, I know, is a slight bit angsty here in the studio at half-time because you're concerned that Galway need to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, like knowing Kilkenny, the first 10 minutes, second half, Michael, they usually come out and blitz you.
Yes.
Out with Spicy, Richie Power comes on the second half as well, and he usually gets goals. But the point is, every time that high ball comes in, there's panic kind of in that Galway defence. Now, maybe they'll get away with it, but they'd want to keep shoving on up front, keep the scoreboard ticking over, point by point, just keep it hanging on, because like there's no better team that come back than Kilkenny. The goals haunt you. I would love to see Galway sticking a goal or two, and that would give us a little bit of a space, but it's hard to see it coming. Like, it's very hard. These lads are very experienced, and the thing about Kilkenny is, even down at half time, Michael, they will still believe that they're going to win, coming from that tradition that they have.
Yeah, can you see changes in Kilkenny?
Yeah, I think Richie Power, now Brian is never one for just rash decisions. I think he'll give the boys another opportunity, to be fair, to get into it. I think he will settle in. I think Michael Fennelly has been good in the first half. I think Richie Hogan obviously hasn't been in the game. First ball he struck really was in 30-minute point, but straight over the black spot. Yeah. I think we need to get more Richie in the game, and I think it's just the lads need to just settle into their positions, get the ball down and start winning some of the harder ball. The breaks, Pádraig Mannion, who we questioned the last, they had a very bad day, has won an awful lot of breaks for Galway, and I think that's where Kilkenny need to. If I was in the forward division, we have to start winning those breaks, and that's what I'm hoping for in the second half.
It's one of those games, Anthony. It's great stuff and it's very exciting, but it's kind of you're watching it and you're struggling to see a pattern. You know.
Yeah, it's frantic stuff.
Yes,
shapeless in some ways, Michael. It would be the word I'd use. And I'm surprised at Kilkenny. It's very much been played on Galway's terms so far, but there's you saw. Aidan Hart was removed, there was no sentiment, just there's no ruthlessness about Galway that I've sensed. And again, when Kilkenny got the goal, like against the Tipperary match, up the field and levelled the match and went ahead again and drove on. And I think, it's there for them if they really want it.
Time for us to head back to the commentary box to Ger Canning and Michael Dykeman.
Second half underway, no changes made by either managers at the start of the second half. One change, of course, made in the first half. David Collins coming on for Aidan Hart for Galway. And Galway with Cyril Donnellan here, attracting 3 Kilkenny players to him. Now let's see who can pick up the intensity levels immediately here, because it's got to be important. As Cyril Farrell was mentioning, the opening 10 minutes usually means a 10-minute spell in which Kilkenny will try to dominate, and Galway are prepared for that, or are they? TJ Reid selling a dummy there with a possible hand pass. Inside it goes towards Colin Fennelly. Fennelly again with 3 or 4 defenders around him, and John Hanbury is one of those. John Hanbury, old style full back play, gets it out here down towards Cyril Donnellan. Once again covering beautifully back there is Shane Prendergast. Out as far as Pádraig Walsh it comes. Here's Pádraig Mannion at a very, very good first half to his brother Cahill, and the Mannions combine. Can't produce a score, however, drops short. Owen Murphy begins the counter-offensive for Kilkenny. Onto the 45-metre line, and again minding that line with great vigilance is Irletanian. It's like Kilkenny have extra players back there. One of them is Paul Murphy, fumbled, and that might allow Cyril Donlan to come in here. And then there was a trip, but he's been told continue. He seemed to be tripped by Pádraig Welch. In the end, the free goes against Galway and incenses most of the Galway fans around me.
Yeah, we'll see it again here. Pádraig Welch comes in. He went to flick the ball, he flicked the hurl instead. I think he fell himself already. He wasn't tripped or anything. If you watch here. And he gives a free out then for overcarrying. Look, again, the second half, Ger, started the very same as the first half. Kilkenny, look at this, miss-hit.
Pádraig Joyce does manage to get it as far as Conor Fogarty, however, and Conor Fogarty gets Kilkenny's first point in the second half, his first as well. Very important contribution, and the Galway fans still booing the award of that free against their team.
But a feature of the first half, Ger, was that Kilkenny not as dominant in the air as they normally are. The Galway backs obviously worked very hard on it since the tip match. They're breaking a lot of the ball, and Pádraig Mannion in particular picking up an awful lot of ball in the Galway, around the Galway half-back line.
Brian Cody geeing up his team. There's not much need to do that. Michael Fennelly once again getting it back here to Richie Hogan, trying to work himself more into the game for the second half. Back once again to Fennelly. The big man leaves this one inside here. It runs beyond Jerry Aylward. There's work to do for Colin Fennelly to try and get to it. And won back once more by John Hanbury. Good play by Hanbury, and Hanbury turned back towards the crowd and G'd up the crowd. There was hardly any need to do that.
Yeah, he won it very well. He's having a much bigger influence on the game, having a very good game today, but he didn't look up at all there, but he's clearing straight out over the sideline.
This is going to be taken by Pádraig Welch. Player has played at wing back, midfield, wing forward in each of his last 3 championship matches against Galway, reminiscent of his brother Tommy, who's watching on. That sails over the head of Daithí Burke here. He might need help from Irletanian, and they still can't get it away. Burke comes in here. The challenge, however, is deemed to be an illegal one on Jerry Aylward. Chopping down onto the stick rather than trying to get the ball away. This is Hanbury just a moment ago here, put under pressure by Colin Fennelly, got the ball away.
Yeah, good discipline. I think that's a very hard yellow card. You know, I know he was a little bit high, but he was only a little flick away, and it's a yellow card. And
well, you compare that with the misdemeanor of Johnny Cohen earlier on. They're both yellow cards.
Yeah, well, Johnny Cohen should have gone. I think most people agree on that one.
Think so. TJ Reid hitting this free and hitting it straight over. That's a goal and 4 points now for TJ Reid.
And Jerry, we saw this last year in the final at half-time, just talking to a few lads. Last year they all thought Tip were going to kick on. This year they're all saying Galway. And I was just reminding them, you know, Kilkenny have this habit of coming out and starting the second half very well and taking over the game. They're
not the brilliant Cats for nothing. That's down there by Cyril Donlan, looking for somebody to come onto it. That somebody was David Burke. Hit across as far as Cahill Mannion. Andy Smith there in the thick of that with the white helmet, number 8 for Galway, but won again by a man with a white helmet. That's Pádraig Welch. Good clearance under pressure, somehow managed to get it away towards Owen Larkin. They wait for it to come out. TJ Reid picked it up, then showed awareness down towards Colin Fennelly. Brings John Hanbury out of position, the fullback. Now he's under pressure. Fennelly bouncing it on the ground before trying to set something up, looking for an option here. Hasn't too many options. Held up really well by Hanbury and by Pádraig Mannion. 2 young, inexperienced defenders, and in the end it goes out over the end line here. And again the referee going back to have a word with the umpire, but that's going to be a 65. First at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, Colin Fennelly took far too much out of that ball. When he got it originally, Jerry Aylward was loose outside him 20 yards away. Great defended by Galway, but Colin Fennelly, you know, not the player that he was over the last few years, a little bit hesitant on the ball, and I'd say Richie Power will be introduced at some stage, maybe for Colin Fennelly in there.
Well, great play by Hanbury and by Mannion. When you consider all the gifted players that Galway have had over the last 27 years, and now 3 players today in their rookie season, Hanbury, Mannion and 18-year-old Conor Whelan, they all have a chance of winning an All-Ireland at their very first attempt. But right now, they're only a point in front, and that lead may be expunged in just a matter of moments here, because TJ Reid is ready to line up this 65.
You see Michael Fennelly shoving Andy Smith back. I've noted a massive increase in Kilkenny's physicality since half-time. Their intensity rates have gone way up, and Michael Fennelly leading that from the middle of the field, as he normally does.
Something of the half-time cup of tea, and the words of wisdom from Brian Cody, no doubt, as well.
Well, I was watching him there from Walter Walsh hit that ball into the goalie's hands just before half-time, and he danced some jig on the sideline, so I'd say they got it fairly hard at half-time already.
Fennelly and Andy Smith, 2 opponents in midfield, at the receiving end of a lecture here. There could be a card as well. It looks like there's going to be, because the referee's writing away. So Michael Fennelly will become the first Kilkenny player to have a yellow card. And is it a temporary substitution that is required as well? Andy Smith also gets a yellow card, and now I think he's saying to Andy Smith, you got to go off and be replaced to have the wound attended to. So they're going to have to make a change. Meanwhile, it's 65 coming up for Kilkenny, and TJ Reid, a goal by TJ Reid after some 13 minutes of the first half. 4 points so far as well. Now, can he tie up the match here? He most certainly can. 110 now becomes 111 to 14 points. And there are 42.5 minutes gone in this match, and the teams are level for the 5th time.
Yeah, Jared Galway need to score. They haven't had a shot at goal since half-time. Kilkenny completely dominating around the half-back line of midfield now.
Number 17, Fergal Moore, has come on for Andy Smith as a temporary sub, and there he is with the red helmet. Fancying his luck here as well, but doesn't quite work out for him. Just scored once ever in the championship, today coming on to play in his 36th championship match, now 33 years of age. Part of the experience that Anthony Cunningham can call upon, should he be so required.
Galway have to be disciplined. Joe Canning inside on fire in the first half. He needs to get the ball. That ball should have been flicked in front of him.
Once more, we're watching TJ Reid here try to knock it forward into the path of Michael Fennelly. Work to do here. Good play by David Burke. Got across here, deflected it away. He really is a terrific midfield player, David Burke. He's been in top form this year. Teams level. Tense All-Ireland afternoon here at Croke Park. Line ball coming up, and once again it's going to be TJ Reid who will take it, the 27-year-old. Awkward angle. Just tries to get it back into play. David Burke got his stick to it. Then he was fouled, I thought. And the referee has blown his whistle this time, and it is going to be a free out for Galway. Knocked to the head there. I think it was Colin Fennelly who was coming across who caught him. I'll just see it again here.
Yeah, watch, it's all eyes on the ball there. And Fennelly jumped into him and hit him hard into the head. Another yellow card.
And another yellow card is dished out here by our match referee, James Owens. None whatsoever until that one was issued to Johnny Cohen just before half-time, and now all of a sudden we've got quite a few. And Fergal Moore has now left the field and been replaced once again by Andy Smith. Andy Smith's a vital part of this Galway team. They dominated the first half. Opening minutes of the second half, it's been very much Kilkenny. Now let's see where this game is going to go. Great catch by Jonathan Glynn, blocked down. Again, they try to make some inroads here, and Kilkenny's then surround them. And the referee once more steps in, and he will throw the ball in to end the uncertainty. Jonathan Glynn there against Killian Buckley, the number 7 for Kilkenny. Pops back out once again, out as far as Pádraig Welch. Poor loose ball, however, straight to David Collins. David Collins, who scored against Kilkenny in the Leinster final in 2012. They won that day. He'd love to be there lifting the cup at the end of this. He's got a point here. And Galway shoot back in front again by 15 points to 111.
Yeah, that's a great score by the captain, David Collins. Andy Smith, captain on the day when he's not playing, but inspirational score, but a very poor clearance again. You see a great hook there by Killian Buckley on Jonathan Glynn, but Pádraig Walsh never looked up there and hit it straight down to David Collins.
A major spur that time for David Collins and for Galway, but the response is from Richie Hogan. Inevitably, what a player he is. He may be injured, but he's playing to the very best of his ability out there. and a second for him from the sublime hurling artist. Created space for himself, finished brilliantly.
He did, Jerry. He had a lot of work to do with a few options, but he had the confidence to take it on himself. And I think they'll need a big second half from Richie Hogan, Kilkenny, if they're going to go on and win it.
Again, Michael Fennelly here tries to get it back as far as TJ Reid, succeeds in that. And Reid then, big one down towards Colin Fennelly. Yet to score in this match. Here's a chance. Fennelly, hooped well by Hanbury, goes the second time, stop on the goalkeeper. Johnny Cohen's there as well. It's gone out over the end line. It's going to be another 65. A second for Kilkenny in the space of about 10 minutes at the beginning of this second half.
Yeah, great battle development between Colin Fennelly and John Hanbury. Watch Fennelly here. Obviously thought his pace would have taken him away from Hanbury, but Hanbury stayed with him, and a great hook there. Just watch the way he left in the hurl here. Brilliant skill. And did it go out then for the 65? I think great save then as well by Colin Callan. I think went out for the 65.
Well, the last 65 was put over by TJ Reid, who's now got a goal and 5 points in this match. Hanbury there matching up against Colin Fennelly. Seems to be enjoying his afternoon down there. Central position, calm afternoon, very, very little breeze around in Croke Park. One of those perfect days for hurling, and a perfect shot at the end of that from TJ Reid. He's pointed the last two 65s. He tries to gee up his colleagues here. Remember, he was the captain in 2010 when Kilkenny lost it to Ferrari. They don't want to lose again. They're going for two in a row. Galway trying to win the title for the first time in 27 years. Great catch, brilliantly done. Knocked away well that time by Walter Welsh, back in a deep position. Beyond Colin Fennelly. Larkin gets there. Hanbury's under pressure, has possession. Goalkeeper can't get to it, gets it a second time. Dangerous moment for Galway. Flicked away by Colin Callan eventually, somewhat indiscriminately. Comes to Owen Larkin. Back into play here to the big man, to Walter Welsh, and Walter Welsh calmly dispatches it between the uprights. His first point of the match, and Kilkenny get another one here. And it's Kilkenny 114, that's 17 points to Galway's 15, and no doubt about it, Kilkenny have been the better team in the second half.
Yeah, Jaron, that switch, Walter Welsh came out to right half forward at half time. He's playing very deep. You saw him catching that puck out, played the ball in, then followed it in and got to score. Great catch there by Johnny Glynn again now.
Glynn across here, but across also came Shane Prendergast. It breaks nicely for Conor Whelan. Whelan from a very, very tricky angle. It was far too tricky. Tried to recycle it. Didn't succeed, however, and it stays at 114 to 15 points.
Yeah, and I see Shane Prendergast down in his hunkers. I'm not surprised. That was a heavy collision between himself and Andy Smith. He's jogging back out, but he looks injured, and
it is going to be a Hawkeye moment, so let's see what happens here. All eyes on screen. Ooh, that was some effort. What a point. Conor Whelan's effort, stunning.
Well, Jared, that shows you the one before half-time from Joe Canning. You know, the technology is there, it has to be used. Conor Whelan poked it in the air that time. It was a 50-50 ball. Some days it'd be given and it wouldn't be. With Hawkeye, that takes that doubt out of it, and it should have been used in the first half as well.
Well, in fairness to the officials in Hawkeye, they are looking at this the whole time, and they have a very good idea themselves if the ball has gone wide, and they don't necessarily communicate with the referee if they think it's unnecessary.
Okay.
That's my reading of it anyway, Michael. This is going to be a free.
I actually think there's a referee in there. I think maybe
there is. Usually it's
Dickie Murphy.
Well, Dickie could be there. Yeah. Willie Barrett there as well.
Yeah. Watch here, TJ Reid, and I think Andy Smith just held his ground there, and that's a soft free now for TJ Reid.
TJ will be happy to avail of it.
Andy Smith has to go off again now. This obviously has a blood injury, and
Kilkenny with 6 points so far in the second half. Galway with just 2.
I see a big change in the style of the referee. You mentioned it there. In the first half, he seemed to be letting everything go, and since half-time, he's pulled for everything. He's given yellow cards. He's given a lot of softish frees, whereas they were getting, you know, they weren't being pulled in the first half an hour, certainly.
What's this the gamble you take when you're the referee of a major match and there's no more major match than the All-Ireland final? Do you let it flow, do you let the game develop a pattern of its own, or do you come in with cards immediately?
Well, I think the incident with Johnny Cole certainly will have rattled the ref. Nobody wanted to send off a player in an Ireland final. It was a big call, and he made the decision not to do it, and I think maybe that has, you know, rattled him since then.
TJ Reid lining this up as Greg Lally is on as a temporary sub on this occasion, and he's missed none of his frees. Flawless as usual, TJ Reid, and now he's got a goal and 7. And ominous for Galway. Kilkenny have really begun to dig in this second half now and really mean business. Andy Smith's back in once again, and off goes Greg Lally. Critical stage of the match now. We're into the 17th minute of the second half, so heading into the final quarter of the 2015 final. Who's going to win it? Advantage Kilkenny on the scoreboard, but you never know with Galway. And Cathal Mannion, who's yet to score. That one is blocked out brilliantly by Pádraig Welch, or it was Michael Fennelly, in fact, another man with a white helmet, who got there. Line ball. David Burke's preparing to take it. Takes it quickly. 2 Kilkenny players are there. One of them is Killian Buckley, and Buckley gets ahead there of Jason Flynn. Pressure back in from Flynn. Then it's from Conor Whelan. Got that marvellous last point a few moments ago for Galway. Again, it's Whelan. Hand passing it back here. Well hooked. Johnny Cohen was trying to flight that ball into the inside forwards. Never materialised, but once again Whelan hasn't ever played in a National League match. Only 18 and playing in this All-Ireland final and doing really well. TJ Reid back up under pressure here. Dáithí Burke collects, clears. One man against 3 defenders. That one man was Cyril Donnellan. All the other Galway players had been pulled back in towards midfield. Joe Canning now arriving to put a bit of pressure on Joey Holden. Finally cleared out by Killian Buckley.
Jerry, you get the impression whoever gets a score out of this will be huge in the game. There's after been an unbelievable amount of hooking and blocking from both sets of players. A lot of effort gone into this passage of play.
And it might be Andy Smith, but that eventually falls from his grasp and out over the sideline, and it becomes a line ball for Kilkenny.
But look, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Galway backs there against only 3 Kilkenny forwards at the moment, and obviously the same down the other end of the field. A lot of players, you know, going back, funneling back into their own half-back, full-back line, and leaving loose men. There's nowhere for the clearances to go, and you know, it's a long way out for teams to get defensive. There's still 17 minutes to go.
It's a peculiar stage of the match right now. It's become a bit of a slog in this All-Ireland final, just to try and achieve absolute mastery. That line ball hit in. Dáithí Burke under pressure there. Comes to Richie Hogan. Hogan near the sideline. Flick back. TJ Reid gets another opportunity. And then finally onto it comes Owen Larkin. Reid once more. Larkin has a look up. Takes it in his stride and hits it beautifully. It's a great point.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I think Owen Larkin has been immense for Kilkenny today. You know, his leadership in the first half, and most of them were going badly. He was winning ball. He scored a good point in the first half. That's another point. His work rate for a man who's won so much and been on the go for so long, it's incredible, and a great leader of this Kilkenny team.
Hoping to win his 8th All-Ireland medal this afternoon, and there's that appetite, that desire to win, and it's always there by Kilkenny. And Ger Aylward has a great chance of putting this one over, and he makes the most of it. A third for Ger Aylward in this final, and suddenly it is all Kilkenny, and it's been by and large all Kilkenny for much of the second half. 4 between them. Colm Cavanagh's puck out, or Colm Cavanagh's puck out, I should say. A couple of bodies wrestling over there, and the referee has noted it. I think Joe Canning is one of the players involved. I'm not sure, is it Joey Holden who was the other one? They've been marking one another. Cyril Donnellan saying there was a pull down there. Up they went for it here. Joe trying to come onto it. Not exactly the most free-flowing. At the end of it, it's Cathal Mannion who comes out, 45 metres out of the referee again, says you took too many steps that time trying to establish control of the situation. with 15 minutes to go, and Galway about to make a big change. Conor Cooney about to come on for his 14th championship match. He hasn't played any hurling at all this year, but he's in now, a player who got 219 in 2 matches against Kilkenny last year, and he replaces Andy Smith, who's been troubled with injury.
Yeah, Gerard's a replica nearly of last year's final in the second half. Kilkenny, you know, Michael Fennelly in particular around the middle of the field, very, very influential, stopping the ball going into the full forward, and where they were having all the trouble in the first half, they've just upped their ante, upped the intensity, and they're scrapping for every ball like their life's dependent on it.
This is hit here by the goalkeeper, Owen Murphy, who has never scored in the championship, and it breaks back down here again, and there's a lot of pressure on that Galway defence right now. They wait for it. Daithí Burke trying to get it out, and in the end it is David Collins who thunders out of the back there, gets it away out as far as Cathal Mannion, pursued there by Conor Fogarty. Mannion once again with the hand pass back as far as David Collins, his team captain. Collins, who will love being part of this on-field action in the All-Ireland final. He'll love it even more if they can edge even closer to Kilkenny. There's still time. It comes out as far as Cillian Buckley, gets it away off his left-hand side, all the way up towards Richie Hogan, bats it down, but the man picking it up is Iarla Tannion.
Up into the air. Sorry, Jared, they've been forced to put the ball in high. You know, that suits the Kilkenny backs.
And there's lots of them there as well. It seems like they've got an extra man or two each time that Galway tried to mount an attack such as that. Away comes Padraig Walsh, left behind. First touch there for Conor Cooney. And again, hit to nobody in particular. The only man down there applying any kind of pressure is Johnny Glynn. Out to Buckley. Buckley, the left half back. Masterful as usual, all the way down as far as Colin Fennelly. Bounces around. Aylward trying to steal inside. Mannion trying to keep him at bay. And then in came Walter Welch as well. Finally, Johnny Cohen. The clearance to the middle of the field here, jumping up for it was Jason Flynn, but winning it is TJ Reid. Reid tries to get away there from Conor Cooney, succeeds, has a go from a distance, 50 metres out, and that one is wide. No need for Hawkeye this time. Or is there? There is.
They're having a look. I think TJ Reid, Owen Larkin was free outside him when he won that ball. Maybe a better option, but I think he was trying to put maybe 5 points between them, put a nail in the coffin, and he went for it on his own.
117 to 16 points, his team leading here, and let's see what Hawkeye reveals. Is it a point for TJ Reid? Seems to have gone to the post, so it might be a kneel, and it is. Kneel on score Ceadha. The score is not allowed. Stays as a 4-point game. 12 minutes to go, plus additional time. Are Galway to lose another? Are Kilkenny to win 2 in a row? And that would be their 36th All-Ireland victory. A remarkable achievement. Back once again come the tribesmen. Conor Cooney this time. David Burke back as far as another sub, David Collins, and Collins hits it and hits it over. Only 1 point in the championship before now in his career, and now he's got 2 this afternoon, both in the second half, and it's a goal between them. 117 to 17 points.
Yeah, they're 2 massive scores for David Collins. Galway was struggling for scores in the second half. He's popped up with 2 of them, and here's Richie Power getting ready.
What addition that he will be. Richie Power recovered from injury, it would appear. Again into that right half forward position. And the deadlock finally broken here as Daithí Burke tries to roll it up onto his stick, but again pressure applied. David Burke comes after it, wins it, challenged strongly, vigorously by Ger Aylward, but unfairly so as well. The referee is going across to have a word. And Richie Hogan is the one who's making way, and the player who's going to come on here is Richie Power.
Well, you can see from Richie Hogan's reaction, very disappointed. Obviously had missed a lot of training. You know, I thought he was still doing okay. He was dangerous. Colin Fennelly not in the game much. That's a big call again by Brian Cody. We've seen many of them over the years.
So Richie Power on. Yellow card there, as you may have noticed, for Ger Aylward. Here's Conor Cooney. Hand pass back as far as David Burke. Immediately pressure applied. Good pressure. Michael Fennelly. His brother Colin in there in the yellow helmet. Final clearances by Daithí Burke. Again picked up here by Jason Flynn. His 4 points were all in the first half. They can do it another. Can he get it? It drops short. Owen Murphy able to gather neatly and calmly out as far as Killian Buckley. Then back into a one-man inside forward line would appear. Colin Fennelly can't take it. Hanbury digging in. Richie Power in there as well. And you can see his leg very, very heavily strapped up from a legacy of injuries he sustained over the recent past. Again, the referee forced to throw the ball in. Walter Welch getting his stick to it. Jerry Elwood coming across. In the end, it is David Burke. Swings around off his left. Missed initially by Whelan. Picked up here by Joe Canning, and they need a big final 10 minutes from Joe Canning. They need a big final 10 minutes from everybody if they're to take the cup, and they're under pressure. And that time, a hefty challenge by Conor Fogarty is penalised by the referee. And the referee has been very quick to issue cards this afternoon, and once again has the notebook out, having a little walk along there with Conor Fogarty and a word in his ear, and it might be more than a word. He's got to get a yellow as well, it would appear.
Yeah, great work right there again by Joe Canning. First, you know, he lost possession originally, then won it back.
Well, I didn't see a card. Why you do see Joe Canning hit this one, and he's hit it badly. He's hit it wide.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it might have been his first touch of the second half. He's been absolutely starved of possession. He looked a bit casual over that free, and that's a very poor wide at this stage of the game.
23, John Power is on now as well. And Jerry Aylward is the one who's gone off. 117 to 17 points. Well, Kilkenny, who played poor enough by their standards in the first half, were very fortunate to be only 3 points behind. They have upped the ante in the second half. They may be strapped for players in some respects of quality and experience, but my goodness, they're making everything count right now. And Colin Fennelly knocks this beautifully over the crossbar. His first point. Every one of the forwards starting today for Kilkenny has now scored. It's like normal service was resumed, and the genie is out of the bottle. Once more, Kieran Joyce. Under pressure is Johnny Cohen. Gets it back down again. It's getting to the stage where they need a goal pretty soon, Galway, if they're to stage a major finish to this match. Out comes Pádraig Mannion. Avoids the hook of Walter Welch. They've got to get some possession down there. They've got to make it count. It's the youngster. It's Conor Whelan. And he's put it to the wrong side of the post, and he's put it wide.
Yeah, did the goalie get a little flick to that? We'll see it again here now.
It's a question of whether or not the ball was out over the line, I guess, before the keeper did get the stick to it.
No, I think it's a wide ball, and very poor effort there for Conor Whelan. He watched the break very well. But then a weak shot and out by the post.
It just needed a player with a bit more experience, I would imagine, a big match action to be in that situation.
Absolutely. Well, look at it. I said a few minutes ago about Colin Fennelly staying on the field ahead of Richie Hogan. Paul Murphy comes out, beautiful ball. The last few minutes of All-Ireland, showing that composure to pick out Colin Fennelly, and he stuck it over the bar.
Greg Lally is on for Cyril Donnellan. Lally normally a centre-back. He's gone into midfield, comes centre-back, centre-field really. Murphy's puck out for Kilkenny towards Walter Welch. Over there as well, Owen Larkin. Two men so good in the air. The clearance isn't a good one. It comes straight to Pádraig Welch, and Pádraig Welch would love to score in the All-Ireland hurling final, and he's done it.
Yeah, that's a great score from Pádraig Welch. He's had a brilliant game, I think, today again. He was brilliant in the final here last year. Not much talk about him coming up to the match. It was all about Killian Buckley, who had a quiet first half, better in the second half, but Welch there, reminiscent of his brother Tommy's super score.
Just over 7 minutes to go now as David Burke tries to set something up here. It's with Greg Lally, and Lally and Galway needed a score, but between that one and the Conor Whelan effort a little while ago, the confidence levels are beginning to just ebb away and drain away now at this stage.
You know, it's nearly as if Galway thought the game was over at half-time. They came out, first half all guns blazing, huge work rate, huge intensity, but you have to do that for the whole 70 minutes, and you know, Kilkenny just closed up shop at half-time around the half-back line. Michael Fennelly in particular has been immense, as he was last year in the final against Tipperary, and Galway just dropped their work rate, and that's the main difference. Shane
Maloney, who rescued Galway right at the very end of the Tipperary match and got the winner that day, has just come on for Jason Flynn, who had a great first half with frees and one great point, but didn't do an awful lot in the second half. He has now been replaced. They've had to make a lot of changes. They have made 5 changes now that I can see so far. One of them might have been a temporary sub, but changes have been made. Joe Canning's about to take this. This has put 4 between them. They'll have 5 minutes or a little under of the 70, but there'll surely be another 2 minutes added on to that. 7 points from Joe Canning, all of them in the first half, nothing at all in the second. Can he rectify that situation? He seems to have done so with his 8th. There is still a pulse. There's still a possibility for Galway. 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
edge of the seat.
They need the next score, Ger. They need to get back to a goal. When you're in a goal in hurling, you know, you're obviously in the game, and a game can turn very, very quickly.
Owen Murphy's goal has rarely been under threat, however, it has to be said. Galway trying to win this in their own half-back line. David Collins down there, number 22, in the thick of it, but it's Kilkenny who emerge with it. Walter Welch trying to set up an opportunity there for one of the powers, a bit like last year when the 2 powers, Richie and John, featured in this replay against Tipperary and did so well. Goal and a point each that day. Porrick Walsh back in, not a great clearance. Straight to David Collins, seemed to be fouled by Walter Welch. Play continues, and it's Colin Fennelly now taking that pass in his stride, 22 metres out, and it flashes over the bar. A second for Colin Fennelly, one of those fiercely determined competitors for Kilkenny, gifted, a little unpredictable, came on in 2012 in the replay and got one of the 3 goals that day. 2 points here today might be enough. 5 between them. Yeah,
he's a huge engine. He stays going strong to the end, and you know, 2 points there in the last few minutes, massive from him.
Cathal Mannion, it's a goal that Galway need at this stage. Kilkenny denying them, however, just encamped there around that D area and refusing to yield anything for the tribesmen. No clear openings. Once again, the referee forced to throw it in. That must be about 4 or 5 times he's had to do that in this match. Not typical of an All-Ireland final, which is usually much more free-flowing. Kilkenny have shown the resolve and the determination, but it's Cathal Mannion who emerges with it, gets it back there as far as Conor Cooney. The man who's been out of hurling for so long has missed another one. And now they have had 3 wides in a row there. That's 12 wides in all in this match. And he realises it's certainly not going their way. Hasn't given up the ghost, however. Lost by 7 in the Leinster final to Kilkenny. Promised they'd be back. But it hasn't really got any better. 5 between them. They need something special. Porrick Mannion all the way down. Trying to slip it in there towards Shane Maloney, but this time it's Paul Murphy who keeps a very close eye on him. Great catch. Owen Larkin laid off as far as TJ Reid. 2 men waiting for it in the inside. It's the 2 powers, Richie and John. And that time it was Richie playing it across the field. Michael Fennelly's first effort was blocked down by David Burke. Goes a second time. They have a winning look about them at this stage, if there was any doubt. They have dominated the second half. They've been much the better team in the 33, nearly 34 minutes we've had so far, and they have opened up a 6-point lead, or is it it's a 5-point lead.
6 point, Jerry.
6, yeah. That's bad. Walter Welch to make it 7. 2 for Walter Welch in this final.
Yeah, this is what they do. You know, Richie Power there, you mentioned him, came on last year for his first game of the year against Limerick in the All-Ireland semi-final, changed that game, had a brilliant final, and to come on here in the final again has made a big difference, has created a couple of scores there, and Walter Welch is in a massive second half again.
It's like they've turned on the tap after half-time, and Galway haven't really had an answer so far. Conor Whelan charging in, loses his footing, however. Has he lost possession as well and lost the chance? Again, he picks it up here. He's a very daring young player who has given everything he's got, Conor Whelan, in this match. I'm not sure is it going to be enough on this particular afternoon. There are going to be 2 minutes of added time. Galway have a free on the 20-metre line. They simply have to go for a goal here. It's Joe Canning's turn. 8 points so far. A quiet word there from Shane Maloney to Joe Canning, the 26-year-old. This has to go into the back of the net, and they have to hope that there's time for another one. 7 points adrift. He hits it. It's trickling around on the line, and it's TJ Reid who's back there trying to work his way out, forced out over the end line there, it's going to be a 65. But TJ Reid, a man for all seasons, a man for all positions as well. A goal and 7 points this afternoon. So once again, it's Joe Canning who's going to have to take this. Second time of asking, it slips through and they have a goal. Goal and 8 now for Joe Canning. So 122 to 118, but we've already played 1 minute of the added time. It was second time of asking.
Yeah, great strike, Chair, but you know, the same thing I often say, too many people on the line. See TJ Reid there behind Paul Murphy, just missed it and trickled into the net.
So it's a 4-point game, and Galway have to try and come again, but they're now only about 30 seconds away from the finish of this match. And Kilkenny will hold on, you would imagine. And Brian Cody once again on the sideline, ready to salute another major victory. And you think about it, 35 national trophies this will be when this one finishes in a few seconds' time. What a record over the years. That one drops in there and drops over the bar, I think. No, it's gone to the left, and disappointment there for Richie Power, but good to see him back. They're counting down the seconds, the Kilkenny crowd, as Pádraig Mannion plays it out of defence to Richie Reid to TJ Reid once again, and it's now all over, and the cheering is Kilkenny who are cheering. Brian Cody and his backroom team celebrate once again. Kilkenny have retained their title and won another All-Ireland final, and the players are celebrating. It's a 2 in a row this time for Brian Cody and his squad as they see off the challenge of Anthony Cunningham's Galway. It's like Kilkenny were winning it for the first time in ages. They have that passionate desire, it's still there. Broken-hearted Joe Canning on his hands and knees. Across goes Shane Prendergast for a quiet word. Even the doctor is jumping around there for joy. Dr. Ty Crowley. Kilkenny just mastered Galway in the second half. 4 points to show at the finish. Kilkenny 122, Galway 118. Well, the Kilkenny roller coaster under this man, Brian Cody. There's Conor Cooney, who came on, having been out of the game for over a year, all devastated. And understandably so. They thought they had it in their control and under their control at half-time when they led by 3, but it was a totally different story in the second half. And as I mentioned, the roller coaster of these Kilkenny players goes on and on. That's now 11 All-Ireland wins since Brian Cody's first back in 2000, after they had lost the 1999 final to Cork. It's remarkable, Michael.
It's an incredible achievement. You know, I said it during the week. I didn't see any drop in their standards this year, with a very small enough squad, with Jackie Terrell injured, with Richie Power injured. You know, they were really down to the wire, carrying injured players into matches like Richie Hogan today. But you know, they're incredible the way they come back year in, year out. You'd have to be very disappointed for Galway. And you know what was strange, it was a complete game of two halves. The very same, I said it during the commentary, as last year's final. Galway just didn't come out in the second half. They played brilliantly in the first half. They should have been maybe 5 or 6 points further ahead, or 4 or 5 points further ahead at half time. They didn't do it, left Kilkenny in the game, and they took over in the second half.
Let's go down to the sideline to Claire McNamara with TJ Reid.
TJ, congratulations, another All-Ireland medal for you. How does this one taste?
Unbelievable. Listen to the crowd. You know, this is everything. You know, when you put your bodies on the line, you train for 10 months of the year, all for today. And to win this All-Ireland is unbelievable, so it is. Unbelievable.
You got a goal in the first half, but a huge second half performance from Kilkenny.
Yeah, I suppose at half time we realised our first half wasn't good enough, and it wasn't, so we knew we had to up the pace in the second half. We done that, I think, and I think from 1 to 15 the subs came on, a massive effort, and it's unbelievable.
So many big names left this team last year, but you still have that belief, that confidence, that composure.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's a big talented bunch of players still here, and we're here for a long time, so we are.
You're never tired of climbing those steps to the Hogan stand.
Unbelievable, I can't wait.
Congratulations, TJ.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, he had a terrific match. TJ Reid from Ballyhale, his ninth All-Ireland final. 3 of those as a sub, and 1 goal and 7 points this afternoon. Up there on Hill 16, the little encampment there of Kilkenny fans, because by and large Hill 16 belong to Galway fans today. They will be bitterly disappointed. Now there's Jackie Tyrrell we saw a moment ago there. He had a really tough training session on Friday night last in Nolan Park and passed that fitness test, and had he been required, Jackie Tyrrell would have been able to go in there and play his part. And there's the Liam McCarthy Cup, what it's all about. And Joey Holden, now a teacher in Kilkenny City Vocational School, captaining the team, and he's the 11th captain in the Brian Cody era to go up there and receive that cup. It's quite astonishing. Owen Larkin's waiting for us as well. Let's have a quick word with him.
Owen Larkin, congratulations. How do you keep doing it?
I think it's Brian Cody has a big factor in it, but the players are just so unbelievably motivated to keep winning. And there's a good few young lads after coming in there and freshen things up. But by God, they came of age today.
Because you didn't have the best of the first half, 3 points down at half-time. What did Brian say?
Not a whole lot. We knew we weren't after playing well in the first half, so we knew ourselves we had to up it. But in fairness to the players at half-time, everybody to a man, subs and all, the whole panel, we all rode in behind each other, and what a second half.
I suppose everybody is in awe of the hunger and the drive that is in this team year after year.
Yeah, well, that's it, you know. Brian has always said that careers come and go, and you have to make the best of things while you're there. And we've certainly done that over the last number of years, and we're continuing to do so, thanks be to God.
You've got another one. Congratulations, Owen.
Thanks a million, Claire.
Truly remarkable. Another joyous occasion for Brian Cody and the Cats. A day to be savoured, part of a golden era which players and fans I know are relishing. The Kilkenny success story goes on and on. Now time for the presentation. Oh, there's a nice little scene there with Richie Power.
Richie can't deny that young fella anyway. The red hair.
Taoiseach, Art Shurehour, agus a Cordy Gale. Cén Míle Fáilse go Park an Crocaig, Sulag Ingor Winchell Longhan, as an Clén Ítach a bhí agin a rís an seo inniu. While an Wéchas an Common a Coranú an Oriapt a Iron Winch o Liberty Insurance, Centra agus Ethiad. Comaile sin, Míle Wéchas an Rachel James Owens, a Fairlina agus na Hippigi Galair. Clíche Brass Sportshul, Clay Ítach Bríomhar a bhí agin a rís, Míle Wéchas an Darden. We send our congratulations to Winchell na Galway. Galway contributed to yet another thrilling All-Ireland hurling final. Míle Wéchas to Urban na Galway. But the Liam McCarthy Cup is heading once again back to the banks of the Nore in Kilkenny. Agus Hartan Common as Gael Curnshe As and Down or a Maurice on Curnshaw of running or on Captain or on Laircra Special to Shin Joey as Ballyhale Shamrocks.
GAA President Eogona Farrell presents the Liam McCarthy Cup now to the Kilkenny captain Joey Holden. The Cats are once again the champions. Champions for the 36th time. Undisputably the game's best in 2015. Cue the celebrations. What an afternoon. 14 points in the second half for his team. Michael Fennelly plays his part.
Nor bhí King Henry agus fáil a cúig léicre sa Fern. Tá daoine caint, tá an spiráid sa Fern here Brista. Nach bhfuil an spiráid Brista. Is é an spiráid sa Fern níos lánar na riamh. Agus, anis, tá an Corn Liam McCarthy ag teachtaháil a rís. First of all, I want to thank Galway for an amazing All-Ireland. We knew exactly what they bring, talented hurlers with physicality. We wish you all the best for the next year. 3 cheers. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Avamore, Glanmia, As we said last Friday night, it's our privilege to wear the brand on the jersey. We thank you very much for your continued sponsorship. In the amateur game, we certainly have a professional set up in the Kilkenny County Board. We thank them for the continued effort. Jimmy Welch, in a relevant speech, said to us last Friday night that he had an argument with his wife over 1987 All-Ireland. Well, we hope that argument will be resolved tonight. The Kilkenny support clubs and all their efforts, we thank them very much. In an amateur game, we certainly have a professional background team as well. Starting with our kidman, Dennis Rocker Cody, who in about 20 minutes is going to give a savage rendition of Rosamund Klein. Our nutritionist, Noreen Roach. Our doctor, Ty Crowley. Emma and Louise Byrne and Stats. Stephen Morrissey for all his help and recovery. Our physio team, Alison Holmes, Neil Byrne, Kevin Kern and John Kearns. Thanks very, very much. Finally, the team that led us there, the best trainer in the country, Nick Dempsey. Our selectors, James Larry and Derek Lane. The boss man in charge led it to another All-Ireland. And now retired principal, so he's plenty more time for the job. Our banished star, Brian Cody. To anyone else that's helped us through the year, we thank you very much. And we'll see you all back in Kilkenny with the Neil McCarthy tomorrow night.
It should be a great night when they bring that back down to Kilkenny City tomorrow night. And the celebrations will now start big time here in Dublin, that much you can be sure. Michael, we had so many people saying to us over the last few days it would be good for hurling if Galway were to win. Kilkenny had other ideas. That's 2 in a row, and you know something, they'll be back for 3 in a row this time next year.
Well, yeah, they'll always be back. I think Joey Holland said half joking there about Brian Cody having more time, but he actually has. He's retired now from his teaching job. But to have that incredible hunger. Look, if Galway won, you'd have an awful lot different scenes here. You'd have a lot more excitement from the crowd. But Kilkenny are just so used to winning. But the players just somehow keep coming back for more. They live for the game. They have that love of the game that's so important. So look, well done to them again. Another fantastic victory with quite a new team over the last few years.
Now, I was mentioning that it's Brian Cody's 79th championship match today. This is win number 65. How does he keep on doing it? Is it the great players that he's had over the last 17 years? Is it the backroom team? Is it the desire of the players that he has inculcated? What is it?
Well, I think it's all of that, but I think the most important thing is that he lives for the game of hurling. That's his life. It always has been. He was a leader. He was a captain Kilkenny to win an All-Ireland himself in '79. He's always been involved with his club. He's a huge James Stephens man, and hurling is the man's life, and he's given the last 17 years selflessly to Kilkenny, and I think he'll continue to do so. Next year the motivation will be to try to win 3 in a row, and they always have an edge. They always have something that they're looking for, and he creates that atmosphere, that professionalism that everyone wants to be part of. And it's an amazing thing to keep so many top players happy. He leaves them off, he takes them off, and you saw Richie Hogan today taken off very disappointed, but that's it. There's no, everyone is treated the same, and that's what makes the man great.
Well, he brought on 2 subs today, Richie Power and John Power, his younger brother. He doesn't tend to bring on very many subs, and there was this concern about they haven't got a big subs bench with a lot of experience and a depth of quality. But there'll be some new players come along next year, you can be sure of that. They'll be putting pressure on.
Well, I think part of that is that if he started bringing on subs early in games, there'd be a reflection of the team that was picked. I don't think he likes to show any weakness. Like at half-time today, there were 3 down, a lot of lads not playing well, but he gave them all 15 or 20 minutes again, and then they improved them right, and that shows great confidence in your players. Like as a player, that's what you want. You want your manager to support you, to back you, to have confidence in you, and if he does, then you'll reciprocate. And he obviously has a great relationship. There's a healthy respect. There's a little bit of fear, I know, from the players, but you know, they respect the man greatly, he respects them greatly, but at the end of the day, Kilkenny hurling is bigger than any of them, and that's what he would drive home to them.
And this man here, Richie Hogan, we were talking about him in the build-up so many times, people talking about Richie Hogan, TJ Reid. Now, he came in with a bad injury, and yet, hampered even by that, they still won.
Yeah, he scored a couple of points, but you know, normally he'd be much more influential. He had a bad back injury, he had a quad injury, he hasn't trained. Owen Larkin had a broken thumb, I think he only got the cast off last Wednesday. So, you know, they had all that stuff going on. They still managed to get it done, and that's what they do. They get the job done. Galway will be very disappointed. They'll be very disappointed at the way the second half went. They played so well in the first half, so much going for them, and just didn't turn up in the second half. Kilkenny put them away very easily in the end.
Well, it's a familiar setting, a familiar scene. Kilkenny are the champions once again.
And in the commentary box this afternoon were Ger Canning and Michael Dignan. Henry Shefflin, when we were looking at the celebration pictures there, the old Squeeze song, Cool for Cats, playing in the background, and it certainly has been a cool day for the Cats.
Yeah, no, look, first of all, I just want to congratulate Joey and all the lads and all the management team. Obviously, I have some very good friends there, so I'm absolutely thrilled. I know a lot of the public will say, oh, it's Kilkenny again, but look, for me, they have been the best. They're the best this year, and I think sometimes we have to say, hands up, they are the best team there around. And I think the players themselves, people don't realise everyone wants to take that crown off, and everyone is fighting very hard to take that crown off. And for them to continuously be successful is the hallmarks of a great team. So I know and I do the same in other sports. I love to see the underdogs win.
Yeah, sure.
But I think sometimes you just have to take your hat off. And at half time here today, we were thinking, Cyril was there. I know Cyril was a bit worried, but he was probably thinking, is this our day? But so like Kilkenny, so like Brian Cody's era, the pressure came on and they stood up. Galway didn't stand up, and it's probably because of the tradition not being used to it. But Kilkenny really stood up, and the intensity levels just went up a ratchet in the second half, as TJ said in his post-match interview. And that was the difference, and they just bombed ahead. They scored 14 points in the second half. Galway scored 1-4.
Yeah.
And that is different. And as well, we said at the beginning of the game, the spread of forward scores. Kilkenny had 9 scores, Galway had 5 or 6 scores, and that was the difference between the two teams. And worthy champions. And I'm absolutely delighted on a personal level for all the lads involved.
I'm sure you are. Anthony, Galway tried their best. Liam Sheedy was sitting beside me watching that match, and he said to me the second half, he says, it's like a war zone out there. But when it came to the crunch.
Well, Michael, sometimes I don't know what happens in dressing rooms at half-time, but that reminded me, that second half, of a bit like that great movie, The Perfect Storm, where the boys could have taken the handy route and gone out around the storm, but they seemed to wade into the storm. And you will not beat them up the funnel, up the middle. Mick Finlay, Joyce, these fellas, Conor Fogarty, what a warrior in the middle. And I'm just surprised that Galway didn't try and keep width to their play, keep it wide, but like Henry nearly sounds a bit apologetic about Kilkenny winning it again, but no, look, there's nothing to apologise for. They're the best team by a good bit and have been for a long time.
Certainly you're disappointed,
Yeah.
I know, but I suppose
But like at half-time,
also acknowledging the fact that Kilkenny, as you said, were the better team.
Best team by mile. They got 14 points in the second half, Galway got 1-4. Like we said at half-time, Galway needed to drive on, especially the first 10 minutes of the second half. Galway went in 3 points up, and instead of that, first 10 minutes was all Kilkenny to get back level, you know, 2 points, 3 points, 2 points. Well, next thing, they're gone in front. And Galway were hanging on, and as Anthony said, just kind of down the middle. Kind of structure went out of it, but the more it went on, the more tighter it got, and the more physical it got, Kilkenny got on top. And again, like, they got 14 scores the second half, Galway got 1-4, like 14 points, it's a lot. Okay, Galway took the bad look of the goal near the end, but like, the game was petering out. A few times Galway took the wrong options, like Young Whelan tried very hard, couldn't through, took the wrong options. He's very young, but we just never got to the pace the way we had in the first half. It was important to keep it physical, but you had to keep hurling as well. And I think Galway got kind of dragged down, but the best team won. And look, sitting here this evening, they have 2 in a row now, they'll be going for 3 in a row. And look, as we sit here, there's going to be money on. And like, you know, Joe Holden there referred to Henry there and he's Irish there, like that maybe people say when Henry gone, the spirit will be gone. But it's not gone, because the Kilkenny jersey is bigger than any Henry or Richie Hogan came off again today. Like, you know, he got his 2 points, maybe injured. The jersey is bigger than anyone. They have that tradition, they're handing it on. And these guys, it's up to the Galways, the Clares, Limericks, Corks and everyone else to get back up there and at them again. And it's not an easy job. Galway will be disappointed with their second half. They tried hard, but like, they'll have to just admit that the best team won. There's no ifs or buts about it.
If you're just looking back into the 90s, Henry, pre this era of Kilkenny. You know, 99 it was Cork, 98 it was Offaly, 97 it was Clare, 96 it was Wexford, and so on. You know, so this just isn't a gimme. These are special days for Kilkenny hurling.
Yeah, very much so. And look, I grew up, and a lot of those players grew up in that era of watching those great teams, and we don't give it as a gimme. And I think that's the great thing about them, is that they will enjoy themselves. They'll celebrate like any other team will celebrate, and Kilkenny public in general. But those players will have a great few days ahead of them.
Yeah,
something they'll always remember. But come their holiday being over in January, they are as hungry as the other team, and without that hunger and Brian's hunger, you saw him talking to Mick there at the end of the match, and I was joking to the boys, he's probably giving out about something that happened during the game. He wasn't happy about it.
He also said, Michael, that the Ballyhill lads wouldn't be back training until Thursday.
I told him Thursday week.
He's really wearing the club players hat now.
That's where they go. They go on to the club championship. But no, to be honest, and they will go out to the club championship. And I think that's the secret. That hunger is there, but it comes from Brian down, and you know they will come back and they will be hungry. And if you're not hungry, you won't be in Brian's team. It's as simple as that. And I think that's at the start and that's the end for him. And I think that's why they have been so successful.
Midway through the second half, Anthony, you were looking, and actually you said it, sir, you know, Galway need a goal here. You could see the game. It was a little bit like the semi-final with Waterford. You know, Waterford were battling their hearts out, but it was just gradually slipping away from them.
Yeah, it took a very similar pattern actually to that game. And you know, before we realised that they were level, the 3 points, you didn't hardly feel them going over, you know. But we kind of nudged each other. Level game now, and you know they just sensed that, and they sensed that the time is there to kick on. There's a vulnerability now in Galway. If we kick on and we get 3 ahead, the heads will drop, and a few little things, Galway, a few shots.
Choked them as well.
Yeah,
like, you know, in the middle, as you were saying, Anthony, like with the balls going to be Kilkenny kind of crowded in rightly, so kind of choked the life of them and got it back up and got great scores. And we could kind of, you could see it happen, you could sense it happen before it happened, and the next thing was really gone. I know the goal kind of takes the bad up and for God, but like Kilkenny won that game well indeed. There's no doubt about that.
All right, we are headed for a short break here on the programme. More on the 2015 hurling final right after these. Also, by the way, keep an eye out for our Sunday game competition, because we might be sending you to Thailand